and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van, play it on the can, play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League preview show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League preview show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Welcome back to Premier League Live. We are building up to kick-off between Chelsea and West Ham United, a big London derby at Stamford Bridge, particularly for the hosts as they look to move back into the Premier League top 4 this evening. Much more in this game between now and kick-off. In around about 20 minutes' time, we'll be hearing from the two managers, Maurizio Sarri and Manuel Pellegrini, between now and then. First of all, though, let's take a look back at another exciting weekend in the Premier League.
30 yards out, Fraser curls it in. Blitz header, 1-0, own goal. I believe it's Ashley Barnes. There's a flag up. We'll wait to see exactly what's gone on here. Good finish by Ashley Barnes. Shame it's the wrong end of the goal. Corner comes in. Begovic is right, and that should be one. Each it is. It's Chris Wood with the simplest of headers at the back post. Paul clearance, chance for 2. It is 2. Westwood makes it 2 on 20 minutes. Burnley a goal down after 4, and now 2-1 up in a matter of moments.
Oh, what a goal! Swept into the corner by Yuri Tielemans, who first time just guided it beyond Benzema. That looked so simple. I can assure you it was not. One less Vardy to tap in for 2-0. What a horrible defensive mix-up for Huddersfield Town. Oh, it's a penalty just inside the box, and Huddersfield get the chance to strike back straight away. Moy, who sends Schmeichel the wrong way and gives Huddersfield Town hope in this game.
Chance here for Barnes. It's 3-1. How was that unfolded? The Bournemouth fans are absolutely beside themselves because Martin Atkinson has awarded the goal.
James Maddison round the wall and into the net. There was a sense of inevitability about that. As soon as Maddison spotted the ball up to take the free kick, it seemed there was only one place it was going to finish up. That is the back of Ben Hamer's goal.
It's a penalty!
Told you.
Wilfried Zaha wins a 10th penalty for Crystal Palace this season. Milivojevic! No mistake! 10 out
10 for the Crystal Palace captain from the spot. And the Eagles have the lead.
Marty Roundhamer, and then he's brought down, and it's going to be a penalty. And he just about scores. Hamer got something on it, but only touched it into the roof of the net.
Taken down by Andre Gomez, but a heavy touch invites Arsenal to get on the ball for the first time. Slipped through from Mkhitaryan into Lacazette. What a start this could be for Arsenal. Lacazette across the face of goal. Ozil to reach it, to keep it in play. And it had to be jabbed away at the near post and behind by Jagielka. Walking towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed up and headed down. A chance here for Jagielka. He's onside and scored. Phil Jagielka, who only found out he was playing a few minutes before the game, comes in and slots into the back of the net. The 36-year-old's first goal in nearly 2 years. And the Toffees have early take-off against Arsenal, whose Champions League charge comes unstuck at Goodison.
So that was the tale of yesterday and Saturday in the Premier League. Some big results up and down the country. Just to run through them in full. Newcastle lost at home to Crystal Palace by 1-0. Milivojevic striking from the penalty spot. Once again, it was Huddersfield 1, Leicester City 4. Another disappointing day for the Terriers, who of course are en route back to the Championship next season. I was at Bournemouth to watch Burnley win by 3-1 and all but guarantee their Premier League survival. And yesterday it finished Everton 1, Arsenal 0. The Gunners' travel problems continue. Let's hear from the winning manager, though, Marco Silva, who spoke about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and how much he's improving game by game.
He's growing, he's developing. It's my job to help him to keep developing as a football player, and he did very good game. All of them, not just one, but of course Dominic is enjoying what he's doing. He's working hard to do what I ask him, because it's not an easy thing to be our main man there. Is not an easy thing, but he's working hard. He's achieving in some good things in each match. He's improving each match, and it's everything what I want.
Marco Silva there speaking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin after Everton's 1-0 victory at home to Arsenal. Everton have found a rich vein of form at the business end of the season. But David Connolly, I wanted to ask you in particular about Arsenal and this wretched away record. And when you look at the games they've got to come, they've still got to go to Wolverhampton Wanderers, who will really want to come out fighting now for that 7th place, having been eliminated from the FA Cup. They've got the Cup finalists, Watford, away from home. They've still got to go to Leicester, who are playing really well under Brendan Rodgers. They're going to have to find a way to win on the road if they're to cement that place in the top 4, aren't they?
Well, they are. I mean, incredible that they're the only side in the Premier League not to keep an away clean sheet. That's quite incredible, which is just not good enough. Look, certainly if you want to, they back it up. Obviously, they have one good result, and then they obviously back it up. The one against Newcastle, obviously they're Rennes as well. They're Man United, and then they go and lose to Everton. Now, I saw Everton. I did the game for TalkSport against West Ham. Look, they were good, but still, you're going to Goodison Park. You've got to show a bit of steel and a bit of metal, and all too often this season they haven't.
Mesut Ozil once again flattering to deceive.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was talked up before the game, wasn't he, in terms of he's now back to form. Certainly, if you take into account how he played against Newcastle, where he's superb. But, then you've got to kind of, continue it, and it's got to be week in, week out, and I guess that's the problem. It's always been levelled at Mesut Ozil. So, yeah, they've still got a lot to do, but I do fancy them to get in that top 4. I really do. I think on their day, they're really hard to stop.
It's going to be a real bun fight between now and the end of the season, that is for sure. As I mentioned there, I was at the Vitality Stadium. Another disappointing afternoon for Bournemouth. 1 win in 9 now for Eddie Howe's side, and I spoke to the Bournemouth manager after their 3-1 defeat at home to Burnley. What about the goalkeeper, Asmir, today? Certainly a couple of goals he'll be disappointed with. What do you make of his performance?
Yeah, possibly he will be. I don't know. I'd have to have a look at the goals back, but I think could take collective responsibility always. Yes, individuals may make mistakes, but as head of the team, I have to take the blame for that, and I'll protect my players till the very end.
And Nathaniel Klein taken off at half-time. It was a difficult afternoon for him as well. Dwight McNeil had a really good game down that side. Was that a tactical change that you made?
It was a tactical change, more in line with the fact that Klein had been booked, and McNeil was seeing a lot of the ball, and I just wanted to protect him.
And in terms of the run that you're on, it's probably not going to drag you into trouble this season, but you'll be keen to build up some momentum between now and the end of the season to take into next year.
Yeah, but that's a dangerous thing to say, because you don't know how the season's going to unfold, and you can never take liberties with the game. I've been in it too long to say that, well, we're okay, and suddenly you can turn around with 2 games left and say, well, now we need some points. So there's no let up from us. We know the importance of every match. We don't consider ourselves safe in the division yet, and we've got more work to do, but today's been a bad day.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
He knows they're safe, David Connolly. No danger of Bournemouth going down this season. But it's a serious point, isn't it? Because we've seen it time and again in the Premier League that a team end one season badly, that limps on into the next season. All of a sudden, they're very much in a relegation dogfight.
Absolutely. I mean, Leicester ended the season last season terribly, and then obviously put Puel under massive pressure at the start of this, and that continued. So, yeah, I think Eddie will be hoping that certainly, last season their home form was their saviour, really, wasn't it? And to go and get beaten 3 by Burnley, a side really scrapping for safety, and they seem to show a real heart and desire there. McNeil was magnificent. He was
superb.
He was. I mean, they just couldn't handle him. But if Nathaniel Klein can't, then what chance have you got? I mean, that's why he's spending the big bucks on him. So he should be delivering. And you might question, have some of those signings worked out? Look, he's had injuries. We know the likes of Callum Wilson missed a lot of football. King as well, and a side like Bournemouth are going to miss that sort of quality. And I guess the danger is, just to cut in there, is that they might lose the likes of Wilson, King, or even Ryan Fraser, which will be a huge blow to them.
Well, the Fraser situation is bubbling under because he's been linked with Arsenal. He's out of contract at the end of next season, and when Eddie Howe addressed the media before the game against Burnley on Saturday, he offered no guarantees at all that Fraser would sign a new contract. He said it's a two-way street. Let's see what happens. Of course, if he doesn't sign that contract, they're going to have to sell him this summer or risk losing him for free. It's going to be a really interesting few months down at the Vitality Stadium. It's going to be an interesting few weeks at Anfield. Liverpool coming from behind once again in the Premier League to pick up a really significant victory at Southampton on Friday night. And afterwards, Jurgen Klopp spoke to TalkSport's Declan McCarthy.
Got the 3 points in the end, must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I'm very delighted, and I think it's well deserved. And it's a difficult start for us against a really good organised side. Meanwhile, Southampton is a proper threat in counter-attack. They're really good organised, and then they win the ball, and then it's really speedy. Our formation was not good for the second balls. So the last line, Joel and Birch too deep. Fabio alone in the centre makes no sense. Fabio needs to be a bit higher, and the 2 centre backs need to be around the highest player of Southampton. When we did that, then we won the balls back. Then we could them put under pressure in their own box. They couldn't really leave it. Then we had a lot of situations, 2-3 finishes, scored the goal, wonderful, and so game on again. Second half, they start again pretty lively. We got the control back after they felt the intensity of the first half, obviously, and then we could really finish it off with 2 fantastic goals, world-class goals. What can I say? And we win a super challenge. I don't know who. And Mo on his bike, Bobby, fantastic run, so important. So that they cannot concentrate on Mo, and then score that goal. And a second one, Bobby again chasing the ball there, cut back, super pass, had to finish it. I'm completely happy. I really think the boys showed again outstanding mentality. I told them in the dressing room, you are mentality monsters. It's unbelievable, and it's great.
Mentality monsters, I quite like that from Jurgen Klopp, speaking after Liverpool's impressive victory at Southampton. They were under a lot of pressure, particularly early in that game. I thought, David, that would be a match where they could slip up. I actually think they might win the Premier League now.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I did the game for TalkSport International, so we might have some of the same listeners, and I thought Liverpool were absolutely awful first half. I mean, they were just nowhere near the level that they needed to be. Jurgen Klopp actually before the game, to me, I thought looked very pensive and apprehensive. I think he was concerned about that game. I think he felt that this might be a potential banana skin, and so it nearly proved. Look, I guess Southampton expended so much energy in that game, they just kind of run out of gas. And look, Liverpool came back into it. The first time really Mo Salah got any sort of space, he wasn't really going to score in and around the box when everyone was sat in. The only time he was going to score was on a break, and I can't believe they left him 1v1. And arguably you could say it was awful defending. You looked at Van Dijk's defending the previous week when he forced onto his weaker side. He cut out a 2v1 to make it a 1v1, and he blazed over the bar. Sissoko. And then you looked at Bertrand, he'd done nothing, he just backed off. Salah then eventually got to the edge of boxing shooting range, and he scored. So really poor defending from them. But I've got to say, up to then, it looked like, it may be going to be a draw. So I'm not saying, they got lucky, Liverpool. but to me they weren't that convincing. But in the end, 3-1 makes it look like a convincing win.
Liverpool 2 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table. The champions do have a game in hand. You can hear all the title twists and turns unfold on Premier League Live. There's going to be a few twists and turns in the race to the top 4 as well. Big game for Chelsea tonight. They're at home to West Ham. Let's hear from the two managers, Manuel Pellegrini and Maurizio Sarri.
I think that they are really a very dangerous team, because in the season they were not able to have consistency, but they are a team with high quality, and so in the single match they can be very dangerous. It's a difficult match. It's a derby. We have only to fight. We have only to think about our matches. I think that we have to fight till the last minutes of the last match.
It happens. Now we must try to think, as always, that we do when we finish a game. In the next game, that is Chelsea, and that you must turn the page and think and be positive for the next game. Maybe a lot of people can be happy because we are not fighting for relegation as was last season, that until the last 2 or 3 games this team was in a dangerous situation. For that reason, I understand that someone could be happy, but I think that our mentality must always try to desire more.
Manuel Pellegrini and Maurizio Sarri there, speaking ahead of Chelsea against West Ham. We are minutes away from kick-off here on Premier League Live. They've not warmed to him, Maurizio Sarri, have they, these Chelsea fans?
No, they really haven't. I don't quite know why. I mean, look, he's very honest, isn't he, with his opinions, and I like that, but a lot of people maybe don't, and arguably he's a little bit too honest. I think he talks too much about the team, certainly about this mental, fatigue, mental frailty. He's mentioned that a lot, the mental side of the game, and I don't know, the football certainly I don't think has backed up what they hoped. I think they were really hoping that this Sarri ball was going to be something special, something they hadn't seen before, like he's going to reinvent the wheel, and that just hasn't been the case. Now, I'm not saying they missed a trick here or whatever, but you've got to remember Leicester got Brendan Rodgers and he's done a pretty good job. I just wonder what he would have done at this side.
West Ham bidding to become the latest team to take a wrecking ball to Sarri ball. See how it pans out. Kick-off minutes away. This is Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. Talk Sports International Service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Alexander-Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, heads it goalwards. Oh, Lloris has missed it. It's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Knockout for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot.
Curly one! Oh,
it's a stunner! Anthony Knockaert gives Brighton the lead again! In a goal we played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the top corner and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse. He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick.
Hazard into the corner. What a goal from Eden Hazard. That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sends a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal! It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the Preview Show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the Preview Show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the Preview Show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Chelsea against West Ham United from Stamford Bridge. I'm your host, Alex Crook. Alongside me is the former West Ham, Watford and Republic of Ireland striker David Connolly. This is Premier League Live on a massive night for the teams competing for a place in the top four in the Premier League. Chelsea fifth at kick-off, level on points with fourth place Arsenal, one behind Spurs. They could be third in the table by the end of the night, and with so many difficult games to come for the team from West London, you feel this is an absolute must-win against a West Ham United team whose season seems to be petering out into nothing. Interesting team selection from Maurizio Sarri. Callum Hudson-Odoi starts back-to-back games in the Premier League for the first time in a long while. Eden Hazard and Gonzalo Higuain also chosen from the off in a very attacking lineup for the home side. Two changes for them from the team that beat Brighton in midweek. Rudiger and Higuain come in. Christensen and Giroud make way. So Arrizabalaga is the goalkeeper. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, David Luiz and Emerson in defence. Conte, Jorginho and Loftus-Cheek in midfield, with that trio of Hudson-Odoi, Higuain and Hazard up front. Plenty of changes for West Ham, including the return of captain Mark Noble and Javier Hernandez, who just loves scoring against Chelsea. Fabianski is the goalkeeper. Fredericks, Bonner, Balbuena and Cresswell in front of him. Rice and Noble hold in midfield. Lanzini, Anderson and Arnautovic behind Javier Hernandez up front. And it will be West Ham United under slate grey skies in the capital who get us off and running in this pivotal London derby. They're wearing their claret jerseys, white shorts and sky blue socks, shooting from left to right in this first half, attacking the Matthew Harding stand away to our right. Chelsea in their predominantly all blue strip with the white socks, and already seconds into the game Maurizio Sarri is scribbling into his notepad. Good evening, David Connolly.
Good evening. I'm sure he's just trying to work out what sort of shape West Ham are playing in and who's in what position, whether Anderson is playing behind the front or it's Lanzini. It looks like Lanzini is playing as the number 10 with Anderson out on the left and Arnautovic out on the right.
The referee tonight is Chris Kavanagh, and it is Antonio Rudiger who brings the ball over the halfway line. It's tipped forward to Higuain, but well intercepted by Balbuena, making his first appearance since the back end of December. The Paraguayan reunited at the heart of that West Ham defence with Angelo Ogbonna to bring a bit of steel. Chelsea fans will be delighted to see Callum Hudson-Odoi starting from the off for the second match in quick succession.
Well, he does have to actually bow down to Eden Hazard though and play on the right hand side. To me, he's much better on there. That's where he's played a lot of his football, but obviously that's Hazard's role. He's not going to suddenly jump into his shoes, not yet anyway.
Might not be Eden Hazard's role for too much longer. The rumours with Real Madrid persist. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi, gives it away on the edge of the West Ham penalty area, just a bit too extravagant there, and Felipe Anderson comes hurtling towards the halfway line. Sliding in was Rudiger. Well, it will be a throw in for West Ham.
He showed a good turn of speed there, didn't he, Anderson? Felipe Anderson, top scorer as well, 8 goals. Not a bad return, is it?
It's been a while since he found the net, though, not scored in the calendar year.
Yeah. He's been out of the game, though, isn't he, out the side, and obviously he's a slow starter as well, expensive acquisition, but when he's on his game, he's very, very good. He's arguably been, to me, one of the better signings anyway, certainly.
Views of a former Hammer, David Connolly, here on Premier League Live. Don't forget the poll on Twitter, by the way, at TalkSport Live. Who's most likely to finish in the top four this season? Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea or Manchester United? Spurs running away with that at the moment. Lots of you getting involved. 53% say Tottenham, 14% Arsenal, 20% Chelsea, and then Manchester United just 13% as it stands.
Well, it's a very, very small front four for West Ham. Anderson is quite small, Lanzini, obviously Hernandez, Arnautovic. So when they are playing out, they haven't really got that much of an aerial threat, unless maybe they go to Arnie out on this right-hand side.
Sloppy pass from Balbuena, trying to switch play out to the near touchline. He overhit the pass, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea. We played 3 minutes. It remains 0-0. This is the 100th meeting between the two London neighbours. Chelsea unbeaten in the last 12 here at Stamford Bridge. In fact, you have to go back to September 2002 for West Ham's last win on this ground. Paolo Di Canio with a couple of goals that night. Jermaine Defoe also on the score sheet. I think that was the year that West Ham were relegated with 42 points. Incredible. And you think you'll probably stay up on 36 this season. Here is N'Golo Kanté, forward to Callum Hudson-Odoi, the exciting teenager. Hurdles one challenge and then plays it out neatly to the right-hand side, and the captain Azpilicueta. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi once more, seeing plenty of the ball in these embryonic minutes of the game. The West Ham fans who are in good voice in the early stages, but Chelsea dominating possession as Manuel Pellegrini will probably have expected.
As you say, Hudson-Odoi has seen a lot of it. He's looked really sharp so far. He's got great feet. They're moving the ball really quickly.
Yeah, Conte laying it off to Higuain, gets it back, the French World Cup winner, and then plays it out to Eden Hazard, hugging this left touchline, field to the lanky Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's slipped away from his toe by Lanzini, and Anders trying to hold it up, turning neatly there away from Rudiger, and then he was tripped by Conte. So it will be a free kick for West Ham and a chance to relieve the pressure that was beginning to build.
Terrific little turn there from Hernandez, held the ball up ever so well. And looking out on this right hand side for Arnautovic, he's got a lot of work to do, maybe trying to track back Eden Hazard. I'm sure he's hoping that West Ham stay on the ball a little bit longer.
Felipe Anderson forward to Cresswell in the left wing position, up against Callum Hudson-Odoi, working half of the team and forcing Cresswell to run the ball behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending there. Hudson-Odoi right on his own corner flag, working hard for the team. I mean, that was always levelled, wasn't it? You remember when Mourinho was manager, he loved his wingers, you know, the likes of Duff and Robin, to work back, you know. That was often levelled at wingers after them that really didn't really work as hard as those sorts of wingers did. You can see Hudson-Odoi there, right back by his own corner flag, winning the ball back.
Here's Rudiger, forward to Loftus-Cheek, still inside the Chelsea half. Rudiger takes over once more towards the halfway line. Feinted to play it out to the right, and Azpilicueta in the end goes forward for Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho knocks it on to N'Golo Kanté. Here's Higuain, and he's back to goal. He was offside. Will be a free kick for West Ham, 5 yards outside their penalty area. Been a bit of a flat track bully this season, Gonzalo Higuain, since his move in January. All 3 Premier League goals coming against the bottom 3 in the division for the Argentine. Played under the West Ham manager Manuel Pellegrini at Real Madrid, a veteran forward.
Well, he has said, hasn't he, sorry, that he needs time to improve, and I think he cited Luis Suarez in his first season at Liverpool. He came in January, only got 4 goals, and then the season after he got 11, and after that he got 23 and then 31. I don't know if he's going to reach those heights.
Different stages of their careers. Luis Suarez,
absolutely
very raw. Then Higuain in the veteran stage of his career. Here's Hazard, knocks it back neatly to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Emerson can't get it out from under his feet, and it's given away cheaply by Fredericks. Conte back towards Cesar Azpilicueta in the right back position. This is Rudiger, giant German at the half of the Chelsea defence. Rested for the game against Brighton in the week. Antonio Rudiger, it's a lovely ball out to Emerson as well. Forward here on the left hand side. Turns away from Arnautovic. Now Loftus-Cheek. Jorginho again showing too much of that to Lanzini. Maybe a throw in though for Chelsea.
Well, it's good defending in the end by Fredericks, but then he's just passed the ball straight out of play. It's strange.
Here come West Ham. Declan Rice trying to accelerate away from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, his England teammate. Loftus-Cheek did well there. Passes the ball back to David Luiz.
They're having a good battle, those two, but Loftus-Cheek has got far too much pace and power for Declan Rice, I think.
Here's Hazard now down by the left corner flag. That was an important intervention from Fredericks on the slide. Will be a throw-in for Chelsea down by that corner flag. Hazard will take himself to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There he is again. A member of England's recent European qualifying side. And here is Antonio Rudiger now for Chelsea. He must have had about 75% of the ball so far in these first 9 minutes, but not at the moment able to break down a stubborn West Ham United back line.
Well, he just gave it away to Higuain, but a really good reaction to go and win it back. As you say, they're dominating the ball here with Chelsea.
Hazard, midway inside the West Ham half, into the feet of Gonzalo Higuain. Now Jorginho sprays a lovely pass out to the right, and Hudson-Odoi, but just over the head of the 18-year-old. It will be a throw-in for West Ham.
Well, it was ambitious, that ball bouncing on the volley. He nearly picked him out, though, just half a yard above his head, Hudson-Odoi. They've got a lot of defending to do here today, West Ham, you can see that.
Eden Hazard enjoying his best scoring season in a while. 17 goals, 2 shy of his best ever for Chelsea, but only 1 in his last 10 matches. That was here against Brighton in midweek. Is he going to go to Real Madrid, do you think?
I think he will. I can't see him being at Chelsea any longer, that's for sure. And certainly now Zidane, I think, is in charge. It looks like he's already sounded out, or just put it out there gently about Gareth Bale. Maybe his time might be up, so they're going to need a wide man. And yeah, Hazard's got to be at the top of that list.
A huge loss for Chelsea. Here is Rudiger, 5 yards inside the West Ham half, into the feet of Hudson-Odoi, turning away from goal, but quickly going up through the gears. Well, one back at the end by Rice, then laid off by Hernandez to Felipe Anderson. Tries to knock it around Rudiger. Does he have the pace to get the better of the German? Manages to keep the ball over on that left touchline. Now Cresswell into the feet of Lanzini. They look pretty comfortable and confident, West Ham, when they have had the ball in the forward area.
They have. And Felipe Anderson was quicker than I thought. I mean, he outpaced Rudiger there.
I've got to admit my money was on Rudiger to come out on top in that particular race for pace. Here is Azpilicueta now for Chelsea. He'll step over from Hazard, gets it back from Gonzalo Higuain. This is dangerous for West Ham, and he's been dragged to the ground by Angelo Ogbonna. It's going to be a yellow card very early in the game. He knew what he was doing there, the Italian. Hazard was away.
Lovely little link up though. The ball into Hazard, he just stummies it, lets it go under his feet, then spins, gets the 1-2 back from Higuain, then he's racing away. Had to bring him down in, so he's cleaning on goal. Might have got back another defender in the recovery, but brilliant little play, so inventive. It's almost like the old days, he played for front two, goes into one, he lets it run, spins them for the return.
It's going to be a long 79 minutes now for Angelo Ogbonna on a yellow card. Chelsea have a free kick in front of the travelling West Ham United fans in that shed end of the ground away to our left. Emerson and David Luiz, the 2 Chelsea players, stood over the ball. Chris Kavanagh just applying the vanishing spray. Chelsea have had plenty of time to assess exactly where they want to play this free kick. Looks like it could be Emerson who's going to come in from the right hand side and strike this left footed.
Well, it is on the favoured left side, up and over.
Fabianski crouching on his line. Emerson with a free kick over the bar. Tame effort in the end from the Brazilian fullback.
Yeah, it's not even close. He started it out too early. It's a good 2 yards outside the post, maybe more, 3 yards. Ginny, mate. I think you had half the goal again, it might have got in.
It is a shot on goal, nonetheless. West Ham defending stubbornly so far. Chelsea 0, West Ham 0. Don't forget, the best way to look ahead to a Premier League weekend is by subscribing to TalkSport's Premier League Preview Show podcast. That's available every Thursday. David Connolly has been known to pop up on that from time to time.
Yeah, one of this week's, have a good listen.
They'll be downloading in their droves, I'm sure. foul by Azpilicueta on Felipe Anderson, 7 yards inside the Chelsea half of the field.
He's been very impressive so far, Felipe Anderson. So comfortable on the ball, likes to take it under pressure. He can look after it. He's strong as well and quick.
Certainly West Ham showing in these early moments of the game that they are not just going to roll over, much like they did against Everton in their last home match. A really disappointing performance against the Toffees. 2-0 they lost. It could have been much more. You never quite know what you're going to get from West Ham United. They are more than capable of giving the juggernauts of the Premier League a nosebleed. They've beaten Manchester United and Arsenal already this season at home. Here is Marko Arnautovic looking to cause problems for Chelsea. Cross blocked by Jorginho. Arnautovic picks it up again down by the right corner flag. I think he fouled Emerson. And it will be a free kick, and that was needless really from Marko Arnautovic.
Yeah, first time he's really been on the ball. He gets it out wide, elects to cross. It's not on. He's got about 6 players in front of him. Can't beat the first man, and then he makes a really poor foul. No need to there, giving possession straight back to Chelsea. I know he's started as a winger, but I do prefer him down through the middle. I just guess his goals return really has forced him out wide tonight.
There's Conte high up the field for Chelsea. Back to Higuain coming deep. Higuain away from Noble and from Lanzini. Noble wins it back and was fouled by N'Golo Conte. It's a free kick midway inside their own half.
Sorry, I was going to say Higuain played a little give and go with N'Golo Kante there. He wanted the ball back. Kante then took it back towards goal, and Higuain looked to the skies as if to say, come on, you know. I think that's where he's with maybe a more creative, attack-minded player. They would have given him the ball back, a bit like Hazard earlier.
That's been a problem for West Ham. Marko Arnautovic hankering for that move to China in January, never quite materialised, signs a new contract, but there's still a certain amount of distrust from the West Ham fans about his intentions, whether he genuinely wanted to stay at the London Stadium. Actually, before that game against Everton, he took the unusual step of ringing personally some of their season ticket holders to try and get them back on side. He was then promptly booed off as he was substituted.
Yeah, I mean, and he got the bird as well. You know, he was basically abused when he sat down on the bench, but his performance was so poor. I think they'd rather did his talking on the pitch.
Here's Noble looking for Fredericks down the right hand side. Pass intercepted by Eden Hazard right back on the edge of his own penalty area. And here is Rudiger now for Chelsea. 15 minutes play. Chelsea 0, West Ham 0. You're listening to Premier League Live in the company of Alex Crook and David Connolly. Here is Hazard running it off Bonner, who knows he can't dive in. Declan Rice back there helping out. It's a foul from him. And a free kick from Chelsea, 3 yards in from the right touchline.
Well, he just needed a bit of help there, O'Connor, so Rice doubled up on him. Hazard just nicked it around him. It was a foul. Let's just say, every time they get it now, I'll be looking to try and take on O'Connor if I was Hazard. Oh, lovely turn.
Conte turning away from O'Connor. He's going to shoot left-footed and just over the crossbar. Super play on the edge of the box from N'Golo Conte. He scored 4 goals already this season, and he wasn't too far away from number 5.
But he's always on the move. Good little ball into him. Lovely little turn with the outside. Just using his little toe. Turn it on the inside. See that? Lovely little flick round the corner. He's lost O'Connor. Takes it in. I just wonder, could he have slipped Higuain in? Made a good run Higuain. Instead it opened up for him with his left foot. He's trying to bend it into that far corner. Just got it over the bar.
Fabianski had his angles covered. Just pulled his left arm away at the last moment. Knew it was going over the crossbar. The man who's made more saves in the Premier League since the start of the 2016-17 season than any other goalkeeper. You feel he may be in for a busy evening tonight. 0-0 the score though, 17 play. Chelsea against West Ham United. Chelsea have won 15 of the 18 matches they've played against sides in the bottom half of the table this season. Here is Conte. Now they're in advanced position once again. Out to Azpilicueta, who's going to cross from the right hand side. Cleared up but not really away by O'Connor. Conte wins the header on the edge of the penalty area, held up by Higuain inside the box, and now Azpilicueta once again on that right touchline. Hudson-Odoi into Conte, gives it back to the teenager, but the pass was overhit, and it will be a goal kick for West Ham United.
Yeah, it's unlucky, a little give and go. Hudson-Odoi into N'Golo Kante, but again, to me, he just makes the wrong decision there, Kante. His 1-2 is a little bit too heavy. That return ball, you can see Higuain as well, just a bit of frustration etched on his face. Sometimes I think he wants the ball back and he doesn't quite get it, or he makes a good little run in the box. That's where you got to feed him. He's the predator. I mean, Kante shooting from 25 yards out on his left foot. Come on, you know, slip it into Higuain in the box. Could be a goal.
Goal kick taken by Lucas Fabianski, the pole. Rudiger and David Luiz getting each other's way there, and I think there was a coming together between the two Chelsea central defenders. David Luiz has come off worse and is right out, stricken on his back.
Well, I just wonder, they both came in for this. David Luiz just loses sight of the ball, then turns around and Rudiger cuts across him and actually goes into his space. There was no need for Rudiger to do that. In the end, I think it's his elbow actually has caught Luiz.
Well, David Luiz is going to need some treatment. Gives us a chance to have a look at some of the tweets we've been receiving from around the world. A brilliant start from Chelsea players so far, but Odoi needs to play with the team and stop his childish attitude in the game. That's from Bello.
Well, Bello, I think he's got a point there, Bello, because, you know, he's gotten the ball, Hudson Odoi, but just once or twice he's maybe taking too long on it, being a little bit selfish, but on the other hand, it's quite nice that he's willing and brave. He's got that confidence to take the ball under pressure.
Mark in Nigeria says it's going to be a shock West Ham victory tonight. Come on, you Hammers. PS, I'm a United fan. I'm sure there's lots of supporters from those other clubs competing for a place in the top four, tuned eagerly to their radios. Do let us know at TalkSport Live is the Twitter address. David Luiz is back on his feet. The game's restarted, and West Ham have a throw over on the left-hand side, level with the Chelsea penalty area. Aaron Cresswell comes forward to take it. Plenty of claret shirts in and around the Chelsea penalty area. It's short to Manuel Lanzini, back to Cresswell. And here is Lanzini once again in the left wing position. West Ham sensibly going all the way back to the halfway line, and Fabio Balbuena tries to put it out to the right. Arnautovic did well to keep it in play. Scampers right to the advertising hoardings. Actually got his boot caught in those advertising hoardings and stuck there like he was attached to some sticky tape for a moment.
It's like a mouse in a mousetrap there. He just couldn't kept the ball in play well. Good back header, but obviously got his boot stuck.
Here's Balbuena now on the halfway line for West Ham. A little flick round the corner from Javier Hernandez, but all the way through to the green-shirted Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Well, they try to force that there. It wasn't on because Chelsea had two screwed midfield players inviting that ball into the front. They've got a little bit cleverer there, West Ham, in their build-up play.
Only two goalkeepers in the Premier League have kept more clean sheets this season than Kepa. Ederson and Alisson, two competing for the Premier League title. And Chelsea could have a big say in that. They'll go to Liverpool at the weekend. Well, you all remember a few years ago Steven Gerrard slipping over.
That's right. If they've got to get something there, they've got to get Hazard playing well. At the minute in this game, he's been on the periphery, rarely in possession at the minute, starved down this left-hand side.
Here is David Luiz, forward to Gonzalo Higuain. Excellent play from Higuain to hold off the defender and then tap the ball back to N'Golo Conte. Here is Hudson-Odoi out to the right hand side and Azpilicueta. Conte inside the penalty area, back heel to Azpilicueta, who's continued his run. Good defending in the end from Balbuena, although the second touch was just a bit too heavy from Cesar Azpilicueta, just when I think he was contemplating pulling the trigger.
Oh, lovely little 1-2 though. Azpilicueta into N'Golo Kante, lovely little back heel into the box. I just think though he carried it one touch too many there. Azpilicueta could have got his shot off, but good little interlink play. Second touch was just slightly heavy, carried him into Balbuena.
It's the first corner of the game. It's taken 22 minutes in arriving. In towards Higuain and Azpilicueta rising in the near post. Fabianski under pressure from Rudiger, plucks the ball from the sky. I think he's had an excellent season, the former Arsenal stopper. A very astute signing at £7 million from Swansea last summer. Fabianski now has the ball at his feet inside the West Ham penalty area.
I mean, £7 million's not a lot, is it, for a keeper in the Premier League? So it's been a terrific signing for them.
He's played a good ball upfield here. Azpilicueta is under pressure from Felipe Anderson. Just caught the wrong side there, Azpilicueta momentarily, but Chelsea won it back with Conte. And Claudio Ranieri famously once said had two hearts. And here is Hudson-Odoi looking to change defence into attack. To Hazard, coming in from the left-hand side. And well shackled so far in Hazard, but he's away from Rice. Gets it back from Higuain. Good challenge by Rice in the end to take it off Hazard. And now West Ham have a throw.
Oh, he's so close to coming off there. Hazard, when he cuts inside and he does that little turn with the outside of his foot, ducks back in, turns on a sixpence, played a little give and go of Higuain, just a return pass, just took a little nick of a West Ham player. That was so unlucky. That's better though from Hazard. You could tell he didn't want to give the ball away too early. He wanted to stay on it and make something happen.
Higuain doing well there to win the ball back for Chelsea, high up the field, and forcing Balbuena to knock it into touch for a throw. Emerson forward from left back to take that throw. We play 24 minutes. It's still goalless here at Stamford Bridge. As Higuain goes back to Rudiger inside the centre circle. Well brought down by Rudiger. He's got plenty of options ahead of it into the path of Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and Hazard's got some space now inside the Chelsea half and quickly makes his way into the penalty area. Oh, lovely play from Eden Hazard. What a super goal that is. The footwork on the edge of the penalty area was from a different planet. Well, if this is the last knockings of Eden Hazard's Chelsea career, he is determined to go out on a high. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. That was a thing of beauty, David Connolly.
What a fantastic goal. I mean, he shows such great feet here. Incredible skill from Eden Hazard. We spoke about how in the first 20 minutes he was maybe starved of possession. This time he comes inside, almost infield, middle of the park, receives it deep. Lovely little Cruyff turn. Then he just goes past Noble like he isn't there. Fakes the player 1-2, takes it around. I think it's Balbuena, little left and right. Now he's 1v1. Has he got composure? You bet he has. Terrific little feet. Lashes it low into the bottom corner. Fabianski, absolutely no chance. What a goal. I mean, he just made something out of nothing there, Eden Hazard.
Goal number 18 of the season for Eden Hazard. And you could watch the build-up, an amazing run. Time and time again, he cups his fingers to his ears in front of the West Ham fans, pokes out his tongue. That was a quite glorious opening goal from the brilliant Belgian.
It's like something off FIFA, isn't it? You know, just he's like got a remote control and away he goes, dribbling past everyone. It was absolutely out of this world.
He was having a poor game till then.
Well, do you know what? Yes, but he was really in the game. That was the problem. I mean, you know, playing wide, but actually he decided I'm going to come in field and try and get on the ball. It's, you know, when he is out wide, you've got to keep feeding him.
Here is Noble now. Flips it over the top. West Ham looking for an immediate equaliser, but David Luiz just makes sure that Marko Arnautovic can't get on the end of that pass. It's gone through to the goalkeeper.
Well, I did say to you before the game, you know, get your mortgage on Chelsea winning this, and you said, what mortgage? And I said, well, you know, come on, they're going to win this easily. And that's not a disservice to West Ham, but the quality they got out on that pitch, this should be 2 or 3-0.
It's the way of the world in the Premier League this season. The Big Six pretty much dividing the points between themselves. That's a good ball from Hazard into Higuain. He's got the wrong side of the defence. It's a good save in the end by Fabianski at the near post, because he struck that on the half volley with some power. Gonzalo Higuain.
Oh, these two are linking up ever so well. Hazard, super little ball into Higuain. What a first touch to kill it, but he's then forced wide on his left. What's he going to do? Might have checked out, and instead he's lashed it near post. Fabianski done really well to get a hand to that. I think he might have palmed it onto the post. A great little movement, came short, then went in behind. Super pick out from Hazard.
It's against the post, actually.
Yeah.
Fabianski was beaten. Gonzalo Higuain, the post whipped away from making it 2-0 Chelsea in double quick time. And West Ham really struggling, but Higuain has passed it straight to Felipe Anderson, and they've got 3 forward here, West Ham in the attack. Anderson overhit the pass for Hernandez. They have to make more of those opportunities when they get in the final third. It's sloppy.
Absolutely. Well, it's sloppy from both players. A sloppy one from Higuain. He received it from the throw and tried to switch play far too big. Gives it straight to Anderson. Then he's 1v1. Can he slip in Hernandez? He tried to, but the thing is, Hernandez doesn't have the pace to get past Rudiger. It's got to be inch perfect. Overhit it. What a waste.
Well, what a goal from Eden Hazard to divide these two sides. Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Only 0-0 between these two in the Premier League came early this season at the London Stadium. There will be no repeat of that tonight, courtesy of a moment of magic from Eden Hazard. That's why Real Madrid are willing to pay the big bucks for one of these standout players in the Premier League. Rudiger switches it out to Hazard just over his head, and it will be a throw for West Ham midway inside their own half.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, pick him out with that diagonal, but you've got to be accurate. That's twice now they've tried to do that and basically got it wrong, Chelsea. You've got to get it to him on the deck, or at least on his chest.
As it stands, Chelsea up to third place in the Premier League table, 66 points from 33 games, 2 ahead of Arsenal, 3 ahead of Manchester United. Both those sides do have a game in hand, though. Felipe Anderson stopped on the edge of the penalty area. Apologies if you picked up some bad language there on the touchline microphone. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi taking on the West Ham defence and crossing towards Higuain. It was well blocked in the end by Balbuena, but they are really struggling, West Ham, to contain this Chelsea attack. Hazard into the penalty area. Little mazy run again, goes down under a challenge from Arnautovic. No penalty, says the referee.
It was a West Ham sandwich. Oh my goodness. Arnautovic and Fredericks, I think it was, go to ground. Hazard skips in between both of them. Arnautovic just gets across. Yeah, it's a ham sandwich. Hazard's on the floor.
The referee had a good view of it and decided it was a fair shoulder barge.
Well, that is that fair?
I think he was overzealous, Arnautovic.
That's a blatant push. He's very fortunate there. Just shoved into him.
They're struggling, West Ham, aren't they?
Yeah.
No question. It's been the story of their recent performances away from home. No winning 6 on the road. They have won on this ground 4 times in their Premier League history, but it'll be a tall order tonight, particularly after that opening goal from Eden Hazard to give Chelsea this 1-0 advantage with 15 minutes of the first half remaining. Balbuena forward to Arnautovic. Noble out to Fredericks, high up the field on this right hand side. Hernandez turning away from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and then he switched it out to the direction of Felipe Anderson, but Callum Hudson-Odoi again working back there.
An excellent tracking back, a lovely little nutmegs from Hernandez and Loftus-Cheek, and then the switch of play. Hudson-Odoi done really well to recover the ball.
They have looked capable when they've come forward, West Ham. It's at the other end where they've really had problems so far in this only half an hour.
Well, actually, they've come forward a couple of times because Chelsea have been guilty of giving the ball away. I mean, if they retain the ball a little bit better, we've seen Emerson play a square pass, lose possession, West Ham break. We've seen Higuain do the same. Just need to take a little bit more care in the middle third.
Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi down the right-hand side for Chelsea, up against Ogbonna. Then coming infield for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 2 of the academy products. And this glittering production line that Chelsea have assembled. Eden Hazard now on the left-hand side. He's always going to come in onto his right foot. He does so. Trying to create some space on the edge of the penalty area. In the end, he's going to switch out towards Hudson-Odoi, but it was plucked from the sky by Anderson. It wasn't the best pass from Hazard, actually. And here is Anderson now back facing his own goal. Chelsea working very hard to close West Ham down when they are in possession of the football. Can't question their endeavour tonight, Chelsea.
No, absolutely. They've worked really, really hard in and out of possession. As I say, just a couple of times, a bit sloppy, maybe a bit casual, thinking that actually this game is maybe out of sight, even though it's not. It's only 1-0, but Hazard that time again, another square pass, giving it away.
Here's Noble now on the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Leaves it for Balbuena just to clip it over the halfway line. Nothing pass really. Picked up by David Luiz, forward to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Keeps possession, gives it back to Jorginho. Now Conte's got room to move into, just inside the centre circle. He's away from Felipe Anderson, into the path of Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was urged to shoot there from the crowd, but he's trying to stand up across for Higuain. It's straight into the arms of Lucas Fabianski. Is he trying a bit too hard at times tonight, Callum Hudson-Odoi?
No, I just think his technique's letting him down here. I mean, Kante with a lovely little run. Good ball inside the right-hand channel for Hudson-Odoi, but his cross is far too close to Fabianski.
West Ham trying to play their way out from the back there, but it's run back by Azpilicueta high inside enemy lines. And here he is again, Azpilicueta. Good performance so far from Chelsea. The team remember that Maurizio Sarri on more than one occasion this season has admitted he struggles to motivate. Here's Eden Hazard. He won't be motivating after that wonderful opening goal. He's glided away from Declan Rice and out to Hudson-Odoi down by the right corner flag. Conte up in support. Back heel towards Hazard, who makes his way into the penalty area, then checks back onto his left foot, trying to bamboozle Manuel Lanzini, but he's overplayed it straight to Anderson. Again, one back by the effervescent N'Golo Conte.
He is absolutely red hot tonight, Eden Hazard, isn't he? His feet are just something else. He's almost toying with players, just trying to suck him in. He did that to Declan Rice just then, waiting and waiting, and then shifted it in the blink of an eye. He's like a magician. Now you see it, now you don't.
Here's Conte, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Back to Loftus-Cheek. Azpilicueta picks up the baton for Chelsea. Plays a 1-2 with Hazard. Now he's filled to Conte again. Good sliding challenge by Noble, but they just can't get out here, West Ham. It's run back by Azpilicueta, and then Rudiger sprays it out to the right-hand side where Hazard has stayed momentarily. Azpilicueta into the feet of Higuain. He's tapped back to his goalkeeper by Cresswell, and Fabianski skies the clearance up towards the halfway line. Again, Chelsea have won it straight back with David Luiz this time. Need to change something, West Ham. Well, this game could very quickly slip out of their grasp. Hudson-Odoi towards the penalty area. Hazard in support to his left. He's going to move it onto his right foot here. Eden Hazard turns away from Arnautovic, then towards Hudson-Odoi at the back post. Lovely take from Hudson-Odoi. Shot blocked by Cresswell. Brilliant once again from Eden Hazard. He's playing a game of his own.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, he sold four West Ham players a dummy there. They went and got a coffee and a hot dog. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And then he sent them out the ground.
Here they come again. Jorginho this time. Little flick pass in towards Hudson-Odoi. Intercepted by Ogbonna. West Ham just need to get to half-time. Only a goal behind you, Phil.
He's almost Messi-esque in terms of how quickly he can change direction. It is that good.
Here's Lanzini though for West Ham. A little layoff from Hernandez to Felipe Anderson, and Noble out to the right-hand side, and Fredericks trying to take on Emerson, the Chelsea left back. Fredericks, can he get a cross in here? Good challenge by Emerson, and it's a corner kick for West Ham, their first of the evening.
Well, again, good play from West Ham. They get it out wide, but that's where Arnautovic should be, but instead he's tracking back Eden Hazard, so it's left to Fredericks to try and take his man on Emerson. He wins inside a corner.
Well, these are the situations that Manuel Pellegrini's side really need to make the most of. Declan Rice forward. Arnautovic decent in the air. Lurks on the edge of the 6-yard box. Javier Hernandez there just to pick up the bits and pieces. Felipe Anderson right in front of the goalkeeper. Delivered towards the back post on Bonner. Cleared by David Luiz. West Ham has still got plenty of bodies forward here as Cresswell crosses towards Rice at the far post. Rice onto Felipe Anderson. This could be a chance for West Ham. The shot was blocked and it's cleared away by Emerson. Only as far as Cresswell. I'm going to take on Azpilicueta. Got the wrong side of the fullback. Header cleared by David Luiz, and now Chelsea can counter. N'Golo Conte leading the charge into Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's got Hazard and Higuain ahead of him. Higuain looking to pull it back for Hudson-Odoi, and it was intercepted by Noble.
Oh, that's a lightning quick break. A better ball there from Higuain, and either Hazard or Hudson-Odoi was in. Good counter, really good counter. They broke with such pace there.
37 minutes played. Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Chelsea have not finished outside the top 6 for back-to-back seasons, as they would if they miss out on the top 4 this time around, since 2002. They're giving their chances of Champions League qualification a real boost so far tonight. Of course, they play Slavia Prague in the Europa League on Thursday, a tie you would expect them to come through.
Well, 17 years since West Ham last won at Stamford Bridge, and I can't see that changing anytime soon.
Only 1-0 though. That will be the positive that perhaps Manuel Pellegrini will take into his half-time team talk.
Well, he might need to make changes. The only thing is that those players that he could be bringing on are all on the pitch now, and look, against Huddersfield the changes come on and were actually really, really good. And it's not been a bad performance, but you know, they don't keep clean sheets, West Ham, so you know that they're going to have to score away from home, and that's very hard to do at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, despite Chelsea's problems this season, particularly away from home, their home form has remained strong, hasn't it? Only one defeat in their last 19 matches here.
Well, here's this goal again. He just pops on the inside, not far off the halfway line. In the opposition half, Hazard skips past Balbuena. Lovely little left and right, jinking run. Absolutely incredible. Just goes past Noble here like he's not there. Brilliant in between Ogbonna and Balbuena. Fantastic. And what a finish into the bottom corner. Absolutely incredible goal. There's Zola on the bench. Zola-esque. Well, to be honest, it's probably better than Zola.
Wow. Big call from David Connolly here on Premier League Live. Eden Hazard again has the ball at his mesmerising feet. He's mesmerising Declan Rice, and forward to Emerson. Ruben Loftus-Cheek trying to turn into some space, but cleared by Balbuena. Felipe Anderson shows too much of it to Jorginho. That's what he's good at, Jorginho, winning the ball back high up the field.
So do you think Hazard is better than Zola? No?
Yeah, I probably do actually.
Okay.
I'm not sure that he is regarded as such a cult hero amongst the Chelsea fans, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a better footballer. Here is Cresswell now. I never said you were wrong.
No, I know.
Just that it was a big shout, but that's what we like here on Premier League Live. Here is N'Golo Conte being manhandled by Declan Rice, but despite being half his size, still managed to come away with the ball. Loftus-Cheek into Hazard, the goal scorer. Now Emerson. Chance maybe to get across into the area. Plays it into the feet of Hazard instead. That usually spells trouble. It's not a bad cross either. Well held by Lucas Fabianski. I think he was looking for Hudson-Odoi at the far post. Here's Arnautovic to the other end. Really good tempo about this game. Looking for Hernandez. It's an important challenge by Rudiger. Loose ball falls kindly for Manuel Lanzini. And now Mark Noble for West Ham United. Not a guaranteed start to the Hammers legend these days. Anderson looking for Fredericks on the overlap, but well read by Emerson. Here's Eden Hazard inside his own half, and he's trying to find Hudson-Odoi here. It's a lovely ball by Hazard. Hudson-Odoi in space on the edge of the penalty area. Higuain up with him. Oh, great save, Fabianski. Hudson-Odoi rifled the effort, right-footed towards the corner, and needed a strong wrist to turn it behind.
Well, Hudson-Odoi with his strike, but the pass from Eden Hazard is an absolute thing of beauty. Cuts through the whole West Ham side, releases Hudson-Odoi. He's 1v1. Can he get his shot off? Just takes Ogbonna into the box, onto his right foot. He goes for a real power. He's aiming for that near post. It's more or less above Fabianski, so it's a comfortable-ish shave for a corner. But the pass from Eden Hazard was, wow, fantastic.
Hazard with a corner. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Fabianski's punched it into the ground, not really away. Rudiger couldn't quite gobble up the loose ball, and Fabianski now has it safely in his gloves.
That's a good corner, just aiming, I think it's for the near post. Azpilicueta is just over here. Not the most convincing of punches from Fabianski. I don't know if Higuain just puts him off slightly, gets across his eye line. Terrible punch, actually. Punts it right down into the ground. He's lucky to pick it up again.
I think Ogbonna actually falling over in front of Rudiger prevented the Chelsea centre-back from turning in the loose ball. West Ham coming forward on the right-hand side with Fredericks, but Emerson again steps in and mops it up for Chelsea. 3.5 minutes to go. Chelsea leading 1-0. Eden Hazard with the dazzling goal on 24 minutes.
It looks like West Ham have just changed slightly and put Arnautovic out to the left and Felipe Anderson out on this right-hand side. Maybe Arnie's sick of chasing Hazard, who knows?
Maybe Pellegrini is sick of Arnie not chasing Hazard. Not renowned for his work rate, is he, Mark Arnautovic? Here is Hazard. A few yards inside the West Ham half. Forward to Loftus-Cheek. Back to Hazard again. He's got Noble for company. He bounces off the West Ham captain onto his right foot. And then again spies Hudson-Odoi in space inside the penalty area. Back to Conte. Conte with a cross for Higuain. Oh, surely it's going to be 2-0. Brilliant block by Fredericks. But I think Higuain should have buried it.
Oh, he should have done. I mean, but the touch and the awareness from Hudson-Odoi here, just to lay the ball back to Kante, and then dinks it to the back post. Higuain just pulled off his man. I just wonder, could he have headed it? I think so. Dropped over the last centre half. Could have headed it instead. Took it on his chest. Waited for it to drop. By the time he does that, it just allows Fredericks just to get across and make the block. Should have been 2-0.
And here comes the corner. Eden Hazard with the delivery, looking for Higuain, headed away by Balbuena, only as far as Jorginho, flips it back out to the right, Hudson-Odoi chasing, can't keep it in. I've got to say that telepathy between Hazard and Hudson-Odoi has been superb in this first half, and you have to wonder, why haven't they been playing in unison all season?
Yeah, you do. I mean, well, look, Willian's on the bench tonight, but arguably, he's had to wait for his chance because of Willian. But he should have had it sooner, there's no doubt. But Hazard, Higuain, they've also dovetailed really well. I mean, they're both from the same path, you can see that, same wavelength, have a really good relationship.
90 seconds the first half remain. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Declan Rice leaves it for Arnautovic, flicks it forward for Rice, but Loftus-Cheek coming out on top in that particular battle of the Young Lions. West Ham do have a throw, which Fredericks will take high up the field on this right-hand side into Lanzini. Chelsea a bit slow to react to that. Here's Noble. Forward to Lanzini again. Over the top looking for Fredericks, who's not on his toes. And he's a throw in for Chelsea. Emerson into the feet of Loftus-Cheek. Under pressure from Rice, but still manages to find Conte. Conte out to the right, now it's Pellegrini, who loves to bomb forward over the halfway line, as he's doing now. He's got Hudson-Odoi overlapping. Hazard's in acres of space on the edge of the penalty area. Should Hudson-Odoi choose to use him, he doesn't, he crosses, and it's into the gloves of Fabianski.
Well, one criticism could be of Hudson-Odoi that his actual delivery is really poor. For the second time now, put it into Fabianski's hands. He's got to do better there, because the move was actually brilliant. Started near enough around their own box, and Loftus-Cheek could have gone back, could have gone square, even maybe to his goalkeeper. Instead, broke a line, great forward pass, and then they're out. But then when he gets in the final third, to me, Hudson-Odoi's got to do better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Into the last few seconds, plus added on time at the end of the first half. The ball is at the feet of Angelo Ogbonna on the edge of the West Ham penalty area, just a one added minute. I think West Ham will be pretty grateful to go in only 1-0 down, given the amount of pressure that Chelsea have applied in this first half. They could get themselves level yet, but the header forward from Felipe Anderson was too close to Rudiger, who clears. Straight to Anderson though, brings it down and then showed too much of it to Hudson-Odoi. That's a part of his game that has impressed me tonight, the defensive work.
Certainly.
And here is Conte for Chelsea. Is this the last attack of the first half? Conte towards the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi to his right. Hazard arriving late on this near touchline, but Noble forces Hudson-Odoi to run the ball out of play. And West Ham will take the throw, and I think, David, that will pretty much be it for the first half.
Yeah, I think so. Really good first 45 from Chelsea. Moved the ball so quickly. I mean, it's played at a terrific tempo.
Well, there is the half-time whistle. Eden Hazard with the moment of magic to separate these two sides. That superb solo goal that we've become accustomed to seeing from the Belgium down the years. Work to do for West Ham in this second half. Chelsea, as it stands, up to third in the Premier League. Half-time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0.
The Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Has a run of Sterling to find, and he does find him in the area. Raheem Sterling for a hat-trick here! And the hat-trick is gobbled up by Raheem Sterling. What a player this young man is.
Tries to play it forward. Hayward puts it up in the air. Comes down. Chance for 3-2. It is 3-2. Perez scores again. Well, it's times to be a Geordie fan from 2-0 down to 3-2 up.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Really good delivery from Knockout. Here's the ball into the back of the net. And Andone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough.
And Wolves win possession through Jimenez. Jimenez is going to go himself. There's another chance here. For 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Raul Jimenez, 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
First time touch trying to find Lukaku. It's broken his way and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal in the final minute of the 90.
He's usually unerring from the spot, Harry Kane. He's scored all his last 5 spot kicks. He faces Bernd Leno and scores again! And Tottenham Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor. This is Premier League Live.
Welcome back to Stamford Bridge, half-time then. Chelsea 1, West Ham United 0. Eden Hazard may well not be a Chelsea player next season, showing tonight just how much we'll miss him on these shores should he leave the Premier League. Turning away from O'Connor, he's going to shoot left-footed just over the crossbar. Super play on the edge of the box from N'Golo Kanté. He scored 4 goals already this season, and he wasn't too far away from number 5, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And Hazard's got some space now inside the Chelsea half and quickly makes his way into the penalty area. Oh, lovely, lovely play from Eden Hazard. What a super goal that is. The footwork on the edge of the penalty area was from a different planet. Well, if this is the last knockings of Eden Hazard's Chelsea career, he is determined to go out on a high. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. That was a thing of beauty, David Connolly.
What a fantastic goal. I mean, he shows such great feet here. Incredible skill from Eden Hazard.
Pretty much dividing the points between themselves. That's a good ball from Hazard into Higuain. He's on the wrong side of the defence. It's a good save in the end by Fabianski in the near post, because he struck that on the half volley with some power. Gonzalo Higuain against the post, actually. Yeah. Fabianski was beaten. Gonzalo Higuain, the post whipped away. Here's Eden Hazard inside his own half, and he's trying to find Hudson-Odoi here. It's a lovely ball by Hazard. Hudson-Odoi in space on the edge of the penalty area. Higuain up with him. Oh, great save, Fabianski. Hudson-Odoi rifled the effort, right-footed towards the corner, and needed a strong wrist to turn it behind. Back to Conte. Conte with the cross for Higuain. Oh, surely it's going to be 2-0. Brilliant block by Fredericks, but I think Higuain should have buried it. So that's the story then of a pretty one-sided first half. Chelsea leading by a goal to 0. And it was a goal worthy, David Connolly, of winning any game.
Absolutely. I mean, what a strike. Incredible. I mean, we just had a little break there, so I went to the toilet, walked past the room with all these electricity cables in, and it had a big sign, danger, Hazard area. But yes, they should have that 20 yards from goal, you know, because he is absolutely unstoppable. I mean, he's incredible. His feet have been just, he's like a magician, like a sleight of hand, but it's sleight of foot. I mean, he shows it to you, then he takes it away. I mean, no one can get near him. I don't mean anybody on that West Ham side. I mean, he sent 4 players, you know, the completely wrong way, with just one little turn. I mean, he's so quick. He's been absolute out of this world in this game so far.
I suppose the one disappointment, if you're a Chelsea fan or if you're Maurizio Sarri going in at half-time, is that for all their domination, they've only scored one goal.
Yes, that could be something levelled at them, that maybe they haven't taken another chance, but you wouldn't say they've had loads of gilt-edged chances, but maybe just in and around the box, just making the wrong decision. Certainly when Hazard isn't in possession, Kante's elected to shoot a couple of times. Hudson-Odoi, his final thought, his final delivery, his final pass, his decision making hasn't quite been there, but he's still been very, very lively. But yeah, for all that possession, you think if they had another goal to it, that would have been the real icing on the cake. As it is, it's one goal of the highest quality.
Eden Hazard has now been directly involved in more Premier League goals than any other player this season. 15 goals, 12 assists.
Incredible.
For the Wing Wizard.
Yeah, I mean, he is a wizard, magician, whatever you want to call him. I mean, he's absolutely sensational. Give him the ball. I mean, at times he was starved. You've got to remember, the first 20 minutes, he didn't really have the ball that much. And, I was saying, well, they need to give it to him. They tried that big switch of play, and it didn't really work a couple of times. And then, actually, for the goal, he drifted infield, tried to get on the ball a little bit more, because you could tell he's probably frustrated. And that's where he scored his goal from, just basically getting it, thinking, right, I'm just going to go. And it's almost like he was playing. It was almost like you had him on a controller, FIFA or something. He just went through people like just they weren't there. Absolutely incredible.
What do West Ham do to try and alter at the moment what looks like a predictable defeat? Just looking at their options on the bench, they're fairly limited, really. They have Sami Nasri there, maybe he could come in and play in that number 10 role, because I don't think Manuel Lanzini has been particularly effective. And actually, Tom Rennie, our learned colleague, a big West Ham fan, has suggested maybe because he's been out for so long, he's almost playing at the moment like he's still in pre-season mode, Lanzini.
Well, possibly. If I was any of those players, though, would I want to come on? Probably not into this game. I mean, they're coming on basically to chase the ball. They're not going to have it. A lot of them are thinking, I'll just keep my powder dry and just get ready for the next game, because they're going into a game here where they're just defending for fun up against opponents who are just, on the top of their game. They're not even close to them here, West Ham. The only times they've really had a couple of attacks has been actually poor play from the Chelsea, when they've actually tried a little square pass and they've given it away. Other than that, I mean, they're just feeding off scraps, West Ham.
Yeah, Lucas Perez and Robert Snodgrass, who would come on and make his 50th West Ham appearance, really the only other attacking options available. In terms of Maurizio Sarri's half-time team talk, will it be just go out and play that half again?
Absolutely, he'll be saying, that is fantastic. That's the sort of performance that I want. Keep it going. Don't let your standards drop. Keep that tempo as high as it was. Can we be a little bit more clinical? That's all he'll be saying as well. Don't give anything like silly fouls, free kicks, set pieces away. That's the sort of avenue that West Ham will get back into the game. I think they've scored from a lot of set pieces, West Ham. I think 9 from their last 11 have been from set pieces. So I'm sure that'll be something ringing in. He said, look, don't give any fouls, no set pieces, try and just keep it out of going behind, whenever you can.
And then Hazard left out, of course, against Cardiff a week or so ago. Maurizio Sarri saying he was tired after playing a lot of games this season. I suppose the hope for West Ham is that maybe they'll get to about the hour mark and they'll give him a rest for the last half an hour of the game.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Because someone like him, you've got to keep him fresh. You can't have him, we spoke about wingers earlier, you can't have Hazard tracking back, because he's going to use all his energy. But I guess with the way that Sarri plays, they have the ball an awful lot of the time, so he doesn't have to do as much tracking back. That might be the difference. Obviously, they keep it on the deck, they try and work it through the thirds, and they retain possession for an awful long time, so he hasn't had to expend much energy defending. He's actually used it all going forward in an offensive way.
Don't forget our Twitter poll, by the way, at TalkSport Live. I've retweeted it there. Who do you think is most likely to finish in the top 4? Lots of you voting so far. Tottenham well in front, actually, 49%. More interesting, arguably, between the other 3. Arsenal 15%, Chelsea 21% now. Manchester United also on 15%. Chelsea doing their hopes of Champions League qualification. No harm at all so far. They have the advantage in this London derby, courtesy of a quite brilliant goal from Eden Hazard. Half-time score at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Second half is coming up very shortly. Stay with us. This is Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much. Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You are listening to TalkSport's coverage of Chelsea against West Ham United from Stamford Bridge. I'm your host, Alex Crook. Alongside me is the former West Ham, Watford and Republic of Ireland striker David Connolly. This is Premier League Live. Chelsea have won all 4 of their home London derbies this season. They are halfway to making that 5 from 5, courtesy of a sublime individual effort from Eden Hazard, who's got a broad grin across his face as the players re-emerge for the second half. Chelsea lining up with the same 11 that ended the first half. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, David Luiz and Emerson in defence. Conte, Jorginho and Ruben Loftus-Cheek make up midfield. Hudson-Odoi, Higuain and the brilliant Hazard up front. West Ham though are making a change, and it's an interesting one because they're going to play the second half without a recognised striker. Javier Hernandez replaced by Robert Snodgrass. Presumably David, Marko Arnautovic will go and play up front as he has done at times this season.
I'd imagine so, yeah. I mean, he's on the fringes, wasn't he, Hernandez? But, you know, should he have come off? I'm not so sure, I don't know. Strange one.
Yeah.
He didn't look injured, did he? Or
no, I think it's a tactical substitution. Yeah. Maybe perhaps Arnautovic a better physical presence, maybe better suited to try and hold up the ball and ask some questions of the Chelsea defence.
Well, we shall see. Well, they certainly need a bit more pace because he just couldn't get in behind, could he? Didn't have the strength or the speed to get in behind Rudiger and Luiz.
As I mentioned in the first half, that brings up half a century of appearances for West Ham for Robert Snodgrass. And the side for the second half, which is off and underway. Fabianski in goal, Fredericks, Ogbonna, Balbuena and Cresswell, Rice and Noble, Lanzini, Anderson, Snodgrass behind Arnautovic up front. And Straight away, Snodgrass has given away a free kick. Overzealous slide challenge on Azpilicueta.
Well, he hasn't given a yellow there. And I don't know why he's brought the play back, because basically Chelsea had the advantage. Strange decision. Yeah, he did go to ground, Snodgrass, but I don't think he hurt anyone.
West Ham in the claret shirts, white shorts and blue socks, shooting from right to left in his second half. They've given it away. Declan Rice right on the edge of their own penalty area. Chelsea in the all blue with the white socks, shooting towards that goal away to our right. It's going to be a goal kick for West Ham. Emerson running the ball out. Played 60 seconds in the second half, still Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. And Rice just hobbling after squandering possession cheaply.
What's interesting is that Declan Rice back at Chelsea, side who released him when he was a teenager. Spent a lot of his childhood here. From when he was 8 years old, he actually lived down the road from me, which I didn't know. Went to school down the road from me. Must have been a proud moment, I think, for him, you know, just to...
What, living in the same road as you?
Yeah.
What have you made of his performance tonight?
As well as that, to be back at Stamford Bridge, you know, because obviously, look, when you are released from a side like Chelsea, you can maybe go under, you know, when you're a teenager, let it affect you, but, you know, he bounced back, obviously forged a really good career for himself and a new career at West Ham.
And how's he fared tonight, in your opinion?
He's done okay. I mean, look, he's had a lot of defending to do, barely had the ball, but hard to judge him against these sorts of opponents, certainly.
Out hustling Arnautovic, and starts the attack for Chelsea. Loftus-Cheek through the legs of Rice, away from Noble as well. Good footwork from him. And here's Hazard into the penalty area from the left-hand side, and he's dragged it across the face of goal and almost found that bottom corner.
Again, the skill, his feet, I mean, they're so quick. The Loftus-Cheeks aren't bad either. Brilliant skill to get past Declan Rice. Just spoke about him. A little bit statuesque, but then Hazard receives it out on the left, comes inside and fakes a shoot with his right, back onto his left, goes low across goal. To me, though, it's not really on to shoot. I think this is where he's got to be looking in the box for his partner. It's not far away, but if I was Higuain, I'd be thinking, come on, you know, look for me sometimes.
He's in the mood, though.
He is in the mood, yeah.
There's no question about that. Score the only goal so far. Looking to add to that tally in this second half, Eden Hazard. Here come West Ham, though. Fredericks, Arnautovic to Aymet in the centre. Cross blocked by Emerson for a throw. More positive from the Hammers.
That's good play from Fredericks. I mean, they aim for him at goal kicks. See if he can win the first one. He did do that. Then he went for the return ball. Good first touch. Won inside, a good throw.
4 minutes played in this second half. Throw in from Fredericks into Noble, who goes down. Fair challenge according to the referee, and a goal kick for Chelsea. Noble smiles in the directions of the official. Manuel Pellegrini not smiling on the touchline, but he never really does. The veteran former Manchester City manager.
Well, Hernandez as well, just taking his seat behind him. He looks okay.
Yeah, I think it's a tactical switch.
Yeah, you might be right.
Goal kick from Kepa Arrizabalaga to Azpilicueta on the halfway line. Two Spaniards linking up. I'm back by Rice just inside his own half. Here's Cresswell now, back to Valbuena, last man back for West Ham. Brings it forward towards halfway, laid off by Lanzini to Fredericks, the right back. Here's Rice inside the centre circle, but still inside the West Ham half. Noble takes over. And now Angelo Ogbonna. Cresswell looking for the feet of Snodgrass. Intercepted by Rudiger. Jorginho picks it over the head of Lanzini and into the stride of Emerson, who bursts into the West Ham half over on that left-hand side. Hazard turns away from Balbuena, but can't beat Rice on this occasion.
He went for the nutmegs, didn't he? Rice read it.
Conte's won it back though, and here's Hazard towards the penalty area. Higuain to his left. Can he get the ball out from under his feet? Not quite. And Declan Rice will clear it away for West Ham.
Well, they recovered well there. West Ham got in and around the ball. Just forced Higuain inside into traffic.
Fabianski, in black, made a mistake there. As he was put under pressure by Higuain inside the 6-yard box and slices the clearance into touch on the far side of the stadium. too many empty seats inside Stamford Bridge on this Monday evening. Too far, of course, for the travelling West Ham fans to travel. No love lost between these two clubs, nicely down to the number of players that Chelsea have poached from West Ham in recent seasons, likes of Glenn Johnson, Joe Cole and Frank Lampard most famously of all. Pass that was overhit by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and it will be a goal kick for West Ham. Are you pleased to see Loftus-Cheek getting some game time?
Yeah, I am. I mean, he's had a good game, hasn't he, tonight as well. I think he's risen to the occasion playing against Declan Rice. Obviously those two know each other well. He showed really good strength, power, pace, terrific feet as well, and he's huge. He must be 6 foot plus. Seems to have the lot. Finally he's getting some game time though. Waited an awful lot of this season on the periphery.
Rice forward to Felipe Anderson, looking for Arnautovic. Good physical battle between Arnautovic and Rudiger, but Chelsea clear the ball away. Emerson now down the left towards the halfway line. Goes back for David Luiz. Had a pretty calm night in the heart of that Chelsea defence. You never quite know what you're going to get from David Luiz from one week to the next. He's gone back to his goalkeeper Kepa. And here is Rudiger now. Chelsea content just to pass the ball around on the edge of their own penalty area. Jorginho almost showed too much of it to Noble there on the slide, but they played it forward to Conte, who hurdles the challenge of Bonner into the feet of Higuain. He turned away from Rice. Emerson now up in support. Hazard lurking on the left-hand side. He's got the ball now. Back to Emerson. Hudson-Odoi at the far post was the intended target, but it's blocked behind by the sliding Fredericks for the first corner of the second half.
Well, if that is an example of Sarri ball, then it's absolutely superb, because they started in their own parts of Elisa Balaga playing out under pressure brilliantly, and then they just cut through West Ham like they weren't there. Fantastic move, really was. The only thing I say in the final third, then can they pick out Higuain? They've just struggled so far.
Hazard will take the corner. David Luiz and Rudiger summoned forward from the back. That's straight into the arms of Fabianski. Final delivery has let them down at times, Chelsea. Lucas Fabianski here bowls it underarm to Aaron Cresswell. Quickly closed down by Azpilicueta high up the field. Rice side flips it back to Ogbonna. We've played 9 minutes in the second half. It remains Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Cresswell goes back to Lucas Fabianski. As long as it stays 1-0, they will feel that chances will come their way, West Ham.
Well, 1-0 was never a winning scoreline, but they just don't really look like scoring at the minute. Not retaining the ball. Arnautovic, again, he's playing through the middle, but hasn't really had it, hasn't retained it. Services has been poor up to him.
He's not scored, Marco Arnautovic, since January the 2nd. Might get a chance here though. Anderson over the top. Arnautovic into the penalty area. Waits for a bit of support. Gets it from Lanzini, and that's a really good save by Kepa Arrizabalaga. Snodgrass here into the area. Does he keep it in? Yes, he does, just about. Oh, right across the 6-yard box. Is Arnautovic to the far post. Smashes it goalwards, and it's blocked by Rudiger.
Well, should that have been a penalty? Really good move. Arnautovic with the first one, just to cut it back to Lanzini. I just wonder though, it's a bit of a tame effort. If it had gone with real power there, might have tested Kepa. In the end, it was a fairly comfortable pat away, but still, Snodgrass keeps it alive on the left. I think he's just wonder, could it have been a penalty? I don't know. I mean, he keeps it alive out on this left-hand side. Ducks past Kante. I don't think it's Jorginho comes flying out. No, it might be Azpilicueta. Just seemed to catch him late.
No, I don't think he got the ball, but had the ball already gone would be the question for the referee. Here comes the corner. Lanzini into the penalty area, headed away by David Luiz. Snodgrass trying to keep it alive, and maybe now Chelsea will counter with Higuain. Hazard ahead of him, he's overhit the pass, and Fredericks calmly puts it back to Fabianski as the rain pours down at Stamford Bridge. Really open start this second half, David Conley.
It is. That was a good break though from Chelsea. Higuain must do better though. He's got to keep looking after the ball, but here's that incident down the left-hand side. Snodgrass keeps it alive, then he delivers in the box. He does go to ground, Azpilicueta. He just catches him with his standing leg, but the ball was gone. I don't think it was a penalty, but
not too much by way of an appeal from Snodgrass, in fairness.
No.
But that will give West Ham confidence, that little spell of pressure, that this game is still up for grabs. Oh, might not be now because Cresswell's been caught by Azpilicueta. Here is Higuain, Loftus-Cheek up in support. Loftus-Cheek tries to dink it over the goalkeeper and he's put it straight into the gloves of Fabianski.
Oh, another really good move. Loftus-Cheek joining in, making that run on the outside of Higuain. He just slips him in. I just wonder though, he burst past the last man, Loftus-Cheek. Does he try to dink it or does he get a little push? You'll have to see this. Fredericks, I think, is the one.
Well, here come West Ham. Felipe Anderson with the curler towards the corner. Comfortable save for Arifa Balaga down to his left-hand side.
Well, he's got to have much more power than that. It's a fairly tame effort. He's out on this left-hand side. Anderson, you know what he's aiming to do, bend it in that far corner, but it's got to be in the poacher stand right in the top corner to beat Kepa from there.
You can watch this. Conte over halfway for Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi ahead of him. Higuain to the left. He's put it through the legs of Declan Rice. Finds Higuain. Loftus-Cheek to Hazard in space. I think we know what he's going to do here, Eden Hazard. Trying to get it onto his right foot. Plays it back to Loftus-Cheek, in fact, on the edge of the area. Here he is again, Hazard. Up against Fredericks with Emerson offering support on the overlap. And he's got away from Lanzini and away from Fredericks. Loftus-Cheek's going to shoot. And it's wide.
Well, it's unlucky. Loftus-Cheek just looking for that far corner again. A similar sort of area to Anderson's effort. Down this left-hand side, Hazard checks out, gives it to him. You can see he's bending it into the far corner. Just needs a little bit more curl on it. I just wonder, was that little push on Loftus-Cheek from Fredericks just before that?
Again, no real appeal.
No.
You can often gauge these things by the reaction of the two sets of players. Fabianski with the goal kick for West Ham. In the driving rain now in West London. Loftus-Cheek getting the better of Lanzini. And here is Eden Hazard over the halfway line for Chelsea. His goal still the one that divides the teams. Hazard into the penalty area, goes down. I think momentum was taken to ground. It will be a goal kick.
I mean, he is like a kid in a playground, isn't he? I mean, he's getting it. I think sometimes he actually passes. I don't know if he's got a bit of sympathy for the West Ham players because he just thinks, oh, you know what, I'll just do it easy this time and just lay it off. Because to me, he looks like he could go past them at will whenever he wants.
Ogbonna trying to clip it over the top for Arnautovic. Well won by Rudiger. In a decent game. The Chelsea centre back. Snodgrass gets it back on this left-hand side. There's Ross Barkley amongst those Chelsea players warming up. Pedro there as well. Maybe Maurizio Sarri, who hasn't always appeased the fans with his substitutions over the course of the season, is contemplating changes.
Well, I'll be amazed if someone like Loftus-Cheek comes off. Obviously those players like Kovacic had a lot of game time, didn't he, earlier in the season. Now finds himself on the side. I'm sure he'll go back. He won't stay, will he? I don't think so. He's on loan, is he? He'll go back.
Yeah, it's a strange one, that. The number of times that either he's gone off or he's come on to replace Bartley. That change must be the most used one in the Premier League this season. But yeah, it hasn't really made a mark, has it, Kovacic?
I mean, one player who has done quite well in left back areas on the ball is Emerson. He's had a good game.
Because again, he's not always been first choice over the course of the season. Here is Loftus-Cheek now for Chelsea with that gangly frame, holding off Rice.
Again though, he just invites that challenge from Rice because I think he knows he's got the beating of him, whether it's with pace or with strength. He's been excellent tonight, Loftus-Cheek.
Our goal. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. You listen to Premier League Live. Don't forget, the best way to look ahead to a Premier League weekend is by subscribing to TalkSport's Premier League Preview Show podcast, and that is available every Thursday. 10 attempts for Chelsea, 4 on target to 3 from West Ham with 2 on target. Here's Arnautovic going to ground, trying to kid the referee that he was pushed over by Rudiger. He wasn't. And the referee tells him to get back to his feet as Arifa Balaga has to warm his gloves.
Well, he's done well, Arifa Balaga playing out. I just saw him take a kick a few minutes ago with his left foot playing out. Obviously he can play with his right as well predominantly. That time going bowling underarm. Brilliant.
Here is Loftus-Cheek trying to squeeze the pass forward for Higuain. Hazard Sees his pass blocked by Fredericks, and he's taken a ball into the midriff there. Eden Hazard, and goes down.
That's not a bad way to get him out of the game, is it? You don't get a yellow for that.
Smashing the ball into his body. Eden Hazard wincing in pain. Back to his feet now. Still breathing rather heavily, Eden Hazard, as he tries to not succumb to the pain. It's going to be a bounce ball here, right on the edge of the penalty area. I think Eden Hazard will just play it back to Lucas Fabianski. Smiles as he does so. It was slightly lower down in the midriff, wasn't it? Here is Rudiger. Under pressure from Felipe Anderson, so he plays it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga. He goes long upfield to find Hazard, who brought it down superbly. I think he was coming back from an offside position. What a touch that was from Eden Hazard to pluck the ball from the sky.
Yeah, his feet are just mesmerising. Absolutely out of this world.
Who's the most technically gifted player you ever played with?
Oof. Yeah, like Robbie Keane, brilliant feet, someone like that.
Here's Rice out to Fredericks on the right hand side, 6-2 on the clock. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. It's a long time ago now since Eden Hazard broke the deadlock with that exhilarating solo goal. Anderson looking for Arnautovic. Rudiger heads it to Cresswell, who shoots on the volley. It's a fabulous effort. Just curled away from goal at the last moment. But that's the warning sign for Chelsea.
What a hit. I mean, there's a long ball forward. Anderson aiming for Arnautovic. Rudiger gets the header, but it's a poor one. It's downward. Bounces in the box, and Cresswell's following up, picking up that second ball. He laces it on the diagonal. It was coming back in. It was fading, but just didn't have quite enough bend on it. But what a strike. Just half a yard past the post.
It would have been his first goal, Aaron Cresswell, since April last year. What a way to end the drought. And Franco Zola has just come out to the edge of the Chelsea technical area to issue some instructions to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Watching on from the stands, we've just got a shot monitor of a man who managed both these clubs. And very close, of course, to leading Chelsea to a Champions League title in Moscow in 2008. Avram Grant. One missed penalty away from John Terry to winning that European Cup. Doesn't look like he's having a great night, does he?
Just looking at some of the skill on show. Every time Loftus-Cheek gets a look, he's willing to take it past. There he goes, past Declan Rice again. I mean, he's been sensational.
Great strength, and he's into it. Eden Hazard tries to chip it over the goalkeeper. I think Hudson-Odoi is saying, you should have left it for me. In the end, it was straight into the gloves of Fabianski.
Well, again, the only thing, I was at a playground yesterday with my kids, and they were playing sort of street football on this little pitch, and it reminds me of that. I mean, there's kids here, like Loftus-Cheek, just taking it like he's in a playground, thinking, I'm going to take this challenge from Declan. I'm not going to pass it off. I'm going to take it. I'm going to shrug him off, and I'm going to drive forward with it. It's the only thing I can like it. It's like a kid in the playground, just really enjoying himself.
Still only 1-0 though. Chelsea looking to move back, remember, into the top 4 in the Premier League.
I tell you what, Loftus-Cheek has made Rice look distinctly average. I've got to say.
Yeah. Only one winner there. Rudiger concedes a corner, challenging Felipe Anderson in front of the travelling West Ham fans. West Ham have been prolific from set pieces this season, as David Conley has already articulated. Off Bonner, and I saw score a header against Huddersfield in that incredible comeback win at the London Stadium not so long ago. He's amongst those that Felipe Anderson will try and pick out. He's gone short for Cresswell instead. Cresswell with a cross. Well defended by Rudiger with a head, and then Snodgrass back into the penalty area. David Luiz away. And will Chelsea launch a quick counter? Conte has slipped it through for Eden Hazard. He's up against Fredericks. Through the legs of Fredericks. Is this 2-0? Oh, he's taken on Nobleman. He should have got the shot away, Eden Hazard. And West Ham now surely have got enough men back to deal with the danger. That's where he should have got the shot away. And he tried to take on one man too many. Here come West Ham on the counter at the other end. This game is really ebbing and flowing. Snodgrass into the feet of Felipe Anderson. Anderson into Lanzini in the penalty area. Shot blocked by Rudiger. He should have played in Arnautovic.
Oh, he should have done. Took a little bit too long, but what a block from Rudiger. He's trying to rally the troops there, saying, come on, you've got to liven up. This game should have been dead and buried. It should have been 2 or 3-0. Instead, West Ham looked like they might nick one.
Fascinating final 24 minutes in store here. Eden Hazard, who really ought to have made it 2-0, has the ball 10 yards inside his own half, away from Lanzini. Now into the West Ham half of the field. Found Hudson-Odoi, looks up, only Higuain in the centre. He's going to take on Ogbonna. One back by Rice, deep inside his own penalty area. Noble to Arnautovic, first time layoff to Lanzini. Lanzini wins the free kick. 12 yards or so inside the Chelsea half. There's signs, I think, in this second half that Lanzini is growing into the game, trying to get back some of that match sharpness that would have been lost after so long on the sidelines.
Well, I think both subs have done well, haven't they? Snodgrass well certainly has.
Rice out to the right hand side, and Fredericks in the bright yellow boots. The West Ham fans, you can hear singing their hearts out at Stamford Bridge. They may just be beginning to fancy their chances of nicking a point here, at least a point. They have at least called Maritha Balaga into action in this second 45. Rice here, the recently capped England international. Noble out to the left-hand side, and Anderson, he's got Cresswell into the penalty area. Well marshalled by Hudson-Odoi, tracking back. Felipe Anderson to Snodgrass at the bar, the referee out of his way. That just lost the momentum, but still breaks to the feet of Felipe Anderson into the area. He's passed it straight to Kepa.
Oh, it's better though from West Ham, in around the box. As you say, the referee got in the way of Snodgrass. In the end, it falls to Anderson. Didn't really fancy his left foot though to cut that back. Went with his right, straight into the hands of Kepa. 68 gone. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. They're just beginning to make mistakes, Chelsea, giving the ball away inside their own half here. Cresswell forward to Noble on this near touchline. Olivier Giroud now warming up for Chelsea. West Ham have had 71% of possession in the last 5 minutes. Lanzini in the centre circle for the Hammers. Now Ogbonna, of course, picked up that early yellow card. Lanzini to Arnautovic. David Luiz did well. Breaks for Higuain inside the centre circle. Hazard now dropping deep, but away from Snodgrass and going up through the gears. Eden Hazard lays it off for Higuain. He's got Hudson-Odoi at the far post. He's going to try and pick out Callum Hudson-Odoi here. Brings it down. He was offside. Free kick for West Ham. Oh, a terrific little pick out though from Higuain. If he'd have just held his run here, Hudson-Odoi, it's going to be a change then for West Ham.
Yeah, second change of this second half. Mark Noble has just passed the captain's armband onto Aaron Cresswell. Pedro Obiang coming on. The Spaniard. Just fresh legs really, not so much a change of tactic, I don't think.
Yeah,
pretty like for like replacement.
Yeah, like for like, and as you say, just keep that tempo up. Good little spell for West Ham.
Chelsea are going to make their change as well, and Ross Barkley, who I mentioned have been warming up quite vigorously, is replacing Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
The crowd aren't happy with that. I don't blame him either, because he's been brilliant tonight, I think, Loftus-Cheek.
And not for the first time in recent weeks, the Chelsea fans making their thoughts on that change abundantly clear, with the boos as Loftus-Cheek gets a warm ovation now.
I was going to say, you've got to feel a little bit sorry as well for Ross Barkley, because he probably thinks, well look, if they took off Jorginho or Kante, I mean, look, you wouldn't get the same sort of reception. It's hard for him then to come on and do well, especially for a homegrown player.
Loftus-Cheek gets the high fives from members of Maurizio Sarri's backroom staff, Carlo Cudicini amongst them, the former goalkeeper.
It's a lot of high fives, isn't it, in their staff? About 20 of them.
It's Barkley, by the way, no goals in his last 15 matches, as Arnautovic tries to put Rudiger under pressure inside the penalty. He's done well actually to usher the ball for Obiang. His cross skews behind for a goal kick. Obiang wants a corner, and he's making that point very vociferously to the referee. 18 minutes to go. West Ham still in this game, David.
They are. Can they get one more chance?
If they like with the kick out to Azpilicueta. Can't keep it in play though on the near touch line, and another sign that Chelsea maybe are feeling the strain.
Well, see, they can't really play out long because obviously they're not going to win the first one. They've only got Higuain up there, Hazard and Hudson-Odoi. They're not really, masters in the air. They need the ball on the floor, so it does force them to play out, but they've got it wrong a couple of times tonight. They're certainly nowhere near as good as City, for example, playing out, but I commend them for it.
There's Barkley, powerful drive from him, and out to Hudson-Odoi down by the right corner flat. Barkley wants it back again. Only Higuain at the moment in the centre. Jorginho trying to play a 1-2 with Barkley, but Fabianski was alert and sliding out and collects the ball inside the box.
It was the right idea, just a return pass from Jorginho. He's too close to the keeper, needed to be wider, too straight.
Point would be enough for Chelsea to move back into the top four, but they really need all three. They're 6 points better off than at this stage last season, but they did win 4 of their last 6 at the end of the last campaign. Already mentioned tonight they have a difficult end of season run in. They've got to go to Manchester United amongst other potentially testing games. Liverpool away, of course, this weekend. You'll get that live on Premier League Live, part of a double header on Sunday.
It is a London derby, this is a big game for both sides, so I think this will be a great result for them if they get 3 points here.
Jorginho looking for Bartley, but Rice slides in. Loose ball falls kindly for Higuain, and here's Conte now in the right wing position. Sensibly just keeping possession, back towards Jorginho inside the centre circle. Bartley to Jorginho again. Chelsea just trying to wrestle back control of the game. We come under a concerted spell of pressure from West Ham in the last 10 minutes or so. Jorginho out to Barkley, we've seen plenty of the ball since coming on. Pass for Higuain is picked off by O'Connor.
Well, again though, Higuain makes that sort of little diagonal run into the box. That's where he wants to receive it.
I've got to say, Rudiger's done really well against Arnautovic so far. It's been a tough physical battle as once again West Ham go on looking for the Austrian, and Rudiger again comes out on top. Here's Emerson now in the white boot over the halfway line. Obiang in his shadow, so he rolls it forward for Hazard. Hazard again racing towards the penalty area. Low centre of gravity. He's been tripped by Balbuena and wins himself a free kick.
Well, again, he just invites the challenge from Declan Rice. Goes past him like he's not there. He's just got another level in. He's got another gear when he wants it. He's been sensational.
It's like a road runner, isn't it? This free kick is within shooting range for the likes of David Luiz and Ross Barkley, who's still over the ball.
I'll be amazed if Barkley takes this. He's only just got on the pitch. Probably got Luiz's name on it. Emerson's already had one. That went over the bar. Well, went wide actually. It was a poor free kick.
And this is from the opposite side, nearer to the left of centre. Barkley and David Luiz still stood over the ball. David Luiz is going to take a long run up here. Could be a huge moment in the game. Barkley also shaping as if he may fancy the shot. Hudson-Odoi waiting on the edge of the area just to follow in any loose ball off Fabianski. Will it be David Luiz or Barkley? David Luiz runs up and strikes it into the wall, and it will be a corner.
And not the bravest awards, was it? Half the players turned their back. I think it ended up coming off one of them. Just needed a bit more height.
.15 big minutes ahead. Chelsea with their 5th corner of the game to West Ham's 3. Headed away by Arnautovic, and then Snodgrass into Anderson. One back by Jorginho, but only played out for a West Ham throw. I think we're going to see another change here. Olivier Giroud coming on for Gonzalo Higuain. So at least one of Hudson-Odoi or Eden Hazard is going to complete the full 90 minutes.
Well, I do feel a little bit sorry for Higuain here because the service up to has been really disappointing. I think that quite a few times, a number of times, he could have been given possession. He wasn't turned down. Hazard maybe went by himself. Hudson-Odoi went by himself. The link-up play with Kante wasn't quite there, but I think if you give him the service, he will score certainly. Just hasn't had it tonight.
Olivier Giroud, who scored 6 goals in 12 appearances against West Ham, looking to continue that run.
Well, West Ham would be the sort of side I think that would be interested in a player like Giroud.
He's out of contract, I think, at the end of the season. He signed that 18-month deal from Arsenal last January. Conte into Jorginho on the halfway line. Forward to Conte once more, and he's away from Snodgrass, and maybe we'll look for Giroud straight away. Passes a poor one and cleared by Balbuena. Rice forward to Lanzini. Good touch from him to buy some room against David Luiz, and then Felipe Anderson comes bombing down the left-hand side. He's got Luiz for company and showed too much of it to the Brazilian. Rice with a shot wide from 30 yards out.
Well, he just sliced across it there. He's ambitious. First time ball coming across. Looked to cut it. Drifted past the post. I wonder if Felipe Anderson's okay here. Bit of a heavy challenge. It was picked up by Rudiger, but now he's sat back down.
Yeah, seems to be struggling, Felipe Anderson. West Ham have made a couple of changes already. I think he may have lost a contact lens, Felipe Anderson. After that earlier coming together with David Luiz. Looked innocuous enough. Anderson now back to his feet and play will restart with Rudiger. Here is Cesar Azpilicueta on the right hand side. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Eden Hazard with a goal on 24 minutes. Rice steps into this with Conte. Anderson through to Arnautovic. He had Lanzini coming in. He tried to lay it off at Snodgrass. I don't think he knew that Lanzini had made the run.
It's a really poor layoff there from Arnautovic. I mean, Pellegrini stuck it as well. He's sticking with him, saying, yeah, I know he's out of form, but it will come good. But he hasn't had enough of the ball tonight, certainly. Better awareness there, Lanzini was in.
Hazard away from Obiang into the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi tries to angle it to the far post. Barkley sliding in, couldn't turn it home.
Oh, he's unlucky. Just half a yard in front of Barkley. A really good break again. Hazard feeds it out wide, this time to Hudson-Odoi, holds his position just on the outside of threshold, couldn't get close enough, tries to slide it across the box. Again though, I think he's got to do better in that sort of scenario. The cross is too straight, he's got to put a bit of curl on it so Barkley can reach it.
11 minutes of the 90 remain. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. You're listening to Premier League Live. Are we going to get a second goal in the game, or will it be a clincher for Chelsea or West Ham back on level terms? Chelsea did drop points here. It'll be a good weekend for Tottenham and Manchester United without kicking a ball with Arsenal's defeat yesterday. Here's Hudson-Odoi to Conte. Hudson-Odoi once more down by the right touchline. He goes all the way back to the halfway line, and that's Azpilicueta. Chelsea not taking any risks here with the ball. Sensible, given the circumstances and the slender advantage they have. But here's Emerson. Giroud trying to make some space in the area. Emerson's cross blocked and hoisted away by Balbuena. Obiang, good challenge. Finds Anderson on the halfway line. Intricately brought down, but Azpilicueta wins it back for Chelsea. Here's Jorginho now. Forward for Conte. Hudson-Odoi available to his right-hand side. Hudson-Odoi up against Fredericks, who slides in and concedes a corner.
Good play from Hudson-Odoi, one inside the corner. I was just thinking they made 2 changes now, and obviously he hasn't come off, which is good news. I mean, he's getting not only starting games, but getting 90 minutes, or he's at least staying on deep into the game. Must be disappointing for the likes of Willian, though. Pedro.
Corner for Chelsea in the 83rd minute. Hudson-Odoi is going to take from the right-hand side. Cleared by Balbuena. Hazard just washes it out of play. Chelsea throw halfway inside the West Ham half, taken by Hazard. Rudiger forward for Conte. Hazard available and gets it from Jorginho, and then plays it into Cesar Azpilicueta. Shoots from a tight angle high over the crossbar.
Yeah, he had no other option there really, because he doesn't have a centre forward with pace, so when they are breaking here like Hazard, Giroud is showing short, Azpilicueta's going in deep. When he looks up, Giroud doesn't really have the pace to get across anyone. He wanted it cut back or hung up. I guess that's maybe what Chelsea are lacking, that striker who's got real speed through the middle. So when they are bursting, when they like Hazard carrying the ball and Kante, that they're releasing someone who's got equal speed.
One punt forward from Fabianski. One back on the halfway line by Barkley, who is good in the air. Fredericks forward now. Arnautovic grappling with Emerson. The ball bounces off Emerson now for a throw.
Well, he's done a lot of grappling tonight, hasn't he, Arnautovic, but he's always ended up on the floor, and he's a strong boy.
It's not been his best night again, has it, Marco Arnautovic? I did wonder at the time if kissing and making up will be a short-term fix to a bigger problem. Yellow card is going to be shown here. It's a free kick for West Ham. Looking for Azpilicueta. He sives down Felipe Anderson.
Yeah, he just closed really quickly there. Anderson read it, skipped the ball over him. Definitely a yellow card.
First Chelsea booking of the night. West Ham the chance to put the ball into the penalty area from the free kick. Snodgrass towards the far post. Arnautovic! Well, for a moment the net was rippling, but it's the side netting, and that's a big chance that goes begging for Marco Arnautovic to end the long drought. I thought it was in. In fact, it came off the head of Emerson and behind. Arnautovic heading it onto the defender, and that diverts it away from goal.
Oh, it's so close. Almost a comedy own goal there. Arnautovic hitting it back onto the head of Emerson, who had no idea what was going on. Just went past the post.
Another warning for Chelsea. Corner comes into the area and it's put over the top by Balbuena. Half a chance.
Yeah. Again, from a set piece. First one was a set piece taken short. This one again. The corner. Hung up. O'Connor, I think, with the first challenge. Balbuena with the finish on the half one. It's hard one. Hard skill, certainly when you're a centre half anyway.
6 minutes remaining. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Been that way for a long time now. It's a goal kick for Chelsea, which Kepa Arrizabalaga is about to take. Azpilicueta urging his side to get higher up the field. Quite sure why the referee ordered this to be retaken. It's just wasting time.
Well, because Luiz actually took the ball inside the box, so from a goal kick the ball's got to actually leave the box, but I think he was getting pressed, so what you can do, it's a bit sneaky, it's a tactic really, you can step into the box, take it, referee blows a whistle, you've got to take it again, so it just gets you out of trouble if you are pressed. That's what they've done there, and actually in the end, as I said earlier, they don't really want to go long, but with Giroud now they can. He might win a flick on, but Kepa took too long, has got a yellow.
Yeah, Kepa booked for time wasting. Here comes the change. Callum Hudson-Odoi has lasted 85 minutes tonight, gets a warm ovation, and Pedro it is who comes on to replace the teenager.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be really happy with his night's work. 85 minutes. It's been a real live wire. Arguably, he could improve his final product. His crosses in the box, his deliveries haven't been as deadly as they could have been. But he's so quick. It's another one. So much ability, and had a really good game.
5 minutes for Chelsea to see out this 1-0 lead. It's certainly not been a comfortable second half. As Balbuena plays it back to Fabianski in the white boots. Even goalkeepers are wearing white boots now. Hazard picks up the clearance down on the left-hand side, gets it back from Emerson, and plays it back to the rampaging left-back, headed away by Ogbonna. Kept in play by Fredericks, but passes it straight to Barkley. And here's Olivier Giroud. Over on the left touchline, Hazard. Hasn't been quite as impactful in this second half, but he's found Barkley into Olivier Giroud. Is this the clincher? Good save, Fabianski turns the ball onto the roof of the net.
Oh, Higuain sort of moved there into Barkley on the edge of the box. Straight ball, diagonal run from Giroud off the last man. He's in on goal on his favoured left foot. He should be scoring to me. He's 1v1 with Fabianski. It is tight. It's about 7 yards out. I think he goes trying to put it through his legs, Fabianski, but it just comes off the inside of it. Yeah, it just comes off his bum, I think. Hits his bum, bounces down and goes over the bar. You could tell what he was trying to do then, just trying to squeeze it through his legs.
Hazard with the corner. Barkley flicks it on the near post, away by Balbuena. Pedro goes all the way back to Arrizabalaga on the edge of the D, outside the penalty area. Arrizabalaga upfield with a clearance. Swept away by Fredericks back towards the halfway line. A little bit bitty now, that will suit Chelsea. Pedro brings it down and slot in. Olivier Giroud pass slightly overhit and picked up inside the box by Lucas Fabianski.
Well, if Hazard was on the end, he might have had a chance of getting it, but not with Giroud's pace.
Or lack of.
Right, yeah. It's got to be inch perfect.
Not too many chances, Chelsea, in the second half, have they?
No, not clear cut. And to be honest, in the first half, they didn't have that many clear cuts for all their possession play. And I guess that is the criticism you can level at Sarri's sides, that maybe with their possession, they don't carve out enough clear cut chances. What a ball that is, though, from Declan Rice.
Beautiful. On the volley, out to the left-hand side. Shane Felipe Anderson can't match it, overhits the cross. Arnautovic applauds the effort, but they're running out of time here, West Ham. It's a goal kick for Chelsea. 2.5 minutes left. Eden Hazard at the moment is going to be the match winner. How much will he go for, do you think, Eden Hazard?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows what sort of figure? I mean, it's all that they won't pay the sort of money that Chelsea want, but I'm sure they could if they, if they had to.
Well, he's been worth his weight in gold tonight, that's for sure. Chelsea closing on a return to the top four. Hazard into Pedro. I think he wants it back here. Eden Hazard. Pedro goes to the far post instead, and Giroud can't turn it in.
Oh, he wanted it binked up. Giroud on his head. Instead, it's along the ground, and really he's got no chance of getting on the end of it. It's the right idea from Pedro, but he's unmarked in the box, 6 yards out. Giroud, a better ball. He might score. Actually, I think his first touch just lets him down. Pedro, ball just gets away from him. Look, it is a skiddy grass, it's skiddy turf, it has been raining. Puts a little bit more emphasis on that first touch. You've got to kill it dead.
Rudiger forward for Chelsea. Brought down the chest by Balbuena on the halfway line. Lanzini's got some room to run into here. Halfway inside the Chelsea half. Here is Fredericks in support. Not too much movement ahead of him. Lanzini's cross charged down by Giroud. Giroud clips it forward for Hazard. He's the wrong side of the defence here, but he's just been forced wide by Balbuena. He's all on his own inside the penalty area. Eden Hazard into N'Golo Kanté. Giroud crying out for a cross at far post. Again, the delivery lets them down.
Well, the first touch from Hazard actually let him down. It was a brilliant ball from Giroud. First touch just took him too wide.
Emerson into Pedro inside the penalty area. Can he cut it back for Eden Hazard for two? Cleared by Cresswell. Barkley being urged to shoot. Hazard again, he's got the freedom of the penalty area. Right footed shot into the corner. And there's the clincher. And it's that magic man again for Chelsea. Eden Hazard in the final minute. Rifles into the corner. An unerring finish to put Chelsea up to third in the Premier League. It is Chelsea 2, West Ham 0.
No, Hazard's a hero, but what a ball from Ross Barkley. It's absolutely brilliant to pick him out. Hazard just ghosted away to the far post and Barkley's in possession. Can he pick him out? It's a really difficult ball. Left side of the box. Had to drill it across there. Hazard just pulled out. Can he find him? There's about 4 or 5 players in the way. He does, he keeps it sort of in the air, out of the way of Anderson. Great touch to kill the ball from Hazard, and the second one's even better, just lashes it low into the bottom corner. It's a brilliantly well worked goal.
And fitting that Eden Hazard, the standout player, has the final word at Stamford Bridge. Well, the first goal was all about guile and craft. The second was about pure precision from Eden Hazard, and Maurizio Sarri punches the air in delight.
Well, it was unerring, that accuracy killed it, because it was a hard ball. It just popped up in front of him out of the sky. He didn't even look at the keeper, it just popped up. He knew where the goal was, he knew where the corner was, kept his eye on it, hit it true. Unerring finish.
And that goal equals Eden Hazard's best ever scoring season for Chelsea. 19 goals now in all competitions. He will go on for the first time in his Stamford Bridge career to break the 20 goal mark.
Well, he does go out, he's going out of a bang, that's for sure.
3 added minutes at the end of the game. West Ham coming forward, looking for now a goal that will be only a consolation. Emerson sliding. I think they defended well tonight, Chelsea, overall.
Yeah.
He's been particularly impressive, the left back.
It's a shame you don't have a mortgage, isn't it, Alex? Otherwise you could be quids in tonight.
Absolutely. An inevitable outcome as far as West Ham are concerned. Here's Fredericks with the ball into the area. Cleared as far as Aaron Cresswell. Cresswell trying to get on the end of the ball from Felipe Anderson. Dealt with by Conte. And Pedro playing his way out. It could be time for an Hazard hat-trick yet. Conte makes his way into the West Ham half. Hazard was in space. It was a good challenge by Snodgrass to stop that attack in its tracks.
Oh, terrific recovery tackle there from Snodgrass.
And here's Obiang on the left corner of the Chelsea area, away from Cesar Azpilicueta. They've not been disgraced, West Ham, have they?
No.
A better performance than against Everton.
Yes, absolutely. Better performance. They look a bit more threatening, certainly. Never looked like actually getting a goal. Well, that's a little bit unfair. They have at times threatened, but they're just up against a superior opponent, especially that man there, Eden Hazard. I mean, not too sure many teams can stop him, certainly not West Ham anyway.
Into the last 10 seconds of the 3 added minutes. Chelsea seconds away now from a return to the top 4. Hazard forward to Barkley. One last attack right at the end of the game. Barkley takes the ball down towards the corner flag. Back to Hazard. And fitting that Eden Hazard has the last touch of the game. It was his 2 crucial touches that have given Chelsea the 3 points. They are back up to 3rd in the Premier League table. A good night's work for Maurizio Sarri. 1 defeat now in 20 games here at Stamford Bridge. 2 from Hazard, 2 from Chelsea. It finishes Chelsea 2, West Ham 0. You are listening to Premier League Live. Turning away from O'Connor. He's going to shoot left-footed and just over the crossbar. Super play on the edge of the box from N'Golo Conte. He scored 4 goals already this season, and he wasn't too far away from number 5, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And Hazard's got some space now inside the Chelsea half and quickly makes his way into the penalty area. Oh, lovely play from Eden Hazard. What a super goal that is. The footwork on the edge of the penalty area was from a different planet. Well, if this is the last knockings of Eden Hazard's Chelsea career, he is determined to go out on a high. Chelsea 1, West Ham 0. Pretty much dividing the points between themselves. That's a good ball from Hazard into Higuain. He's got the wrong side of the fence, and a good save in the end by Fabianski at the near post, because he struck that on the half volley with some power. Gonzalo Higuain against the post, actually. Yeah. Fabianski was beaten. Gonzalo Higuain, the post whipped away. Here's Eden Hazard inside his own half, and he's trying to find Hudson-Odoi here. It's a lovely ball by Hazard. Hudson-Odoi in space on the edge of the penalty area. Higuain up with him. Oh, great save, Fabianski. Back to Conte. Conte with a cross for Higuain. Oh, surely it's going to be 2-0. Brilliant block by Fredericks, but I think Higuain should have buried it. Rudiger heads it to Cresswell, who shoots on the volley. A fabulous effort. Just curled away from goal at the last moment. Well, that's the warning sign for Chelsea. Emerson into Pedro inside the penalty area. Can he cut it back for Eden Hazard for 2? Cleared by Cresswell. Barkley being urged to shoot. Hazard again is got the freedom of the penalty area. Right-footed shot into the corner, and there's the clincher. And it's that magic man again for Chelsea, Eden Hazard, in the final minute. Rifles into the corner, an unerring finish to put Chelsea up to third in the Premier League. It is Chelsea 2, West Ham 0. Yeah, good night's work for Chelsea and Eden Hazard in particular. David Connolly, how big a loss would it be to the Premier League if Eden Hazard does pack his bags and up sticks to Bernabeu this summer?
Oh, it'd be huge. I mean, there aren't too many like him. Aren't too many that can put on a performance like that, you know, at the highest level, and just look basically like, you know, they're operating in the same league, but he's actually, you know, levels apart. Levels above these other sort of players that are even on his team and obviously on the opposition team. I mean, he was absolutely electric at times. You couldn't keep with him. It was like he was playing, you know, we had him on a FIFA controller. I mean, just, you know, make him go faster, make him slow down. He could do whatever he wanted. If he wanted to beat half the players or we wanted to beat the whole team, it looked like at times that he could do that. I mean, that's as good as I've seen his feet. I mean, they're so quick. He can use both of them. He can twist and turn. He was absolutely outstanding.
I've just seen a tweet from someone, a football stats man, saying I'd rather watch Eden Hazard than Cristiano Ronaldo. Is that going too far? Different types of players, aren't they?
They are different types. I mean, I would like him a little bit more to maybe Messi in terms of how he moves with that low centre of gravity and the quickness and the deftness, and like I said, that slight, he's got like a magician, but it's a sleight of foot. I mean, he can just move it so quickly and tease people in and then take it past them. I mean, he made Declan Rice look, you know, so slow and cumbersome. Well, so did Loftus-Cheek at times, but I mean, he just went past players if they weren't there, and it just seemed like if he wanted to, he could have just actually looked like he could have played another level or two above that. It looked like he was maybe in about third gear when he's probably got 5.
Yeah, because there were times when he looked almost casual.
Yeah, he was casual.
Almost like it was too easy.
It was, and he just sort of laid it off, just go, you know what, I'll just take it easy on you for now, but if I want to, I can do this, and then he'd turn it on. You know, absolutely sensational.
West Ham only 3 points ahead of Palace and 4 of Bournemouth now. Their season coming to a disappointing conclusion.
Yes, I mean, look, it was a spirited performance, you have to say. I mean, they didn't give up, and they had a sort of discipline about them. I mean, he made a change at half-time, didn't he? And they were slightly improved. Although, look, they don't have a number 9. They've got plenty of issues to sort out. Who's going to be their striker? They lack athleticism. They lack mobility. You know, for all the plaudits to like a Declan Rice and Mark Noble, once those two are in the middle of the park, I mean, once you get past them, just a little shift, and that's it. You cut through them, then you're at the back 4. And that's what happened tonight. So they've got a few areas to work on. Look, you know, I think they'll accept that this result was going to be the one, you know, and they won't be that surprised at it. It'll just be their inconsistency that lets them down. Brilliant one week, and obviously follow up the next week by being absolutely awful. But that was a bit more like West Ham, I guess.
How do you assess the race for the top 4 now then? 3 successive victories for Chelsea, just when they really needed them. They are 2 points ahead of Spurs, who do have a game in hand, 3 ahead of Arsenal, who've also played a game less, and then they've opened up a bit of a gap now on Manchester United, 5 points clear of the Red Devils. That could be crucial.
Yeah, it could be. Look, if they can keep their players fit, but they are heavily reliant on the likes of Eden Hazard. Let's be honest, you know, he's having his best ever season, and is that timed? I don't know. Is there something beyond that, you know, behind that, so that he's timing it to perfection? Obviously, with the Real Madrid situation, is Dan taking over and them in need of obviously a Galactico of sorts? Who knows? That's me being cynical. But he's having an unbelievable season. Without him, where would they be? I don't know. They might be down in 6th or 7th. Maybe lower.
Does it surprise you he's never scored 20 goals in a season before?
Well, yeah, arguably. I guess what you could say is maybe he's getting on the ball a little bit more, might be a bit more selfish, maybe he's growing, maybe his teammates are looking for him a little bit more. But not only his goals, but his assists as well. His all-round game has just been fantastic. I mean, you know, the more you can get him on the ball in central areas, the better, because when he's stuck out wide, if he doesn't get it, I mean, he's completely wasted. But after the first 20 minutes, he was basically in the game the whole time.
They go to Liverpool on Sunday, and what you've seen tonight, could they put a spanner in Liverpool's title bid?
Oh, I tell you what, they could. I mean, they've got some players who were sensational, not just Hazard, but the likes of Loftus-Cheek. He was brilliant. N'Golo Kante, I thought was excellent. The 2 centre-halves were solid as a rock, weren't they? David Luiz, and especially Rudiger, you spoke about him as well. So they've got a very strong spine, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we've seen in the past, haven't we, Liverpool do have a history of having issues against Chelsea in the biggest games when it comes to getting themselves over the line in the battle to win titles. David Connolly, thanks tonight for your expert analysis. It's been a pleasure to share the commentary booth with the former Republic of Ireland international. Thanks to those of you who've got in touch on Twitter as well via @TalkSportLive. It's been a comfortable win for Chelsea. Eden Hazard, very much the star of the show, finishes here. Chelsea 2, West Ham 0.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Alexander-Arnold again to return it. Mo Salah in space, heads it goalwards. Oh, Lloris has missed it. It's gone in. Off Alderweireld, I think, for the own goal. Liverpool back in front with 30 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Scenes of jubilation, of celebration, of relief more than anything at Anfield. Somehow they have found a way.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSportLive on Twitter.
Knockout for Brighton, edge of the area, on his left foot. Curling one!
What a
Oh,
great
it's a
finish.
stunner! Anthony Knockout gives Brighton the lead again! In a goal that will be played time and time again. There can't have been too many better hits in this derby over the years. It flies into the top corner, and Matt Ryan flies down the pitch to join in the celebration.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
It's Ward-Prowse! It's in! It's magnificent from James Ward-Prowse. He, like Valeri, has scored for the second game running. It's another magnificent free kick.
Hazard into the corner. What a goal from Eden Hazard. That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Live with TalkSport.
Completely free in the penalty area again is Alvaro Morata, and this time with a powerful header high into the top corner. He makes no mistake.
Bringing you all the goals from every game right across the country from the world's biggest and best league.
Here's De Bruyne again. This time he's found the net. Drills in low with his left foot into the corner.
English football at its finest.
Sermon with a corner, Cook with a header. Bournemouth win the game in stoppage time.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
Hello and welcome to TalkSport's coverage of Arsenal against Manchester United from the Emirates Stadium. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Gunners winger Adrian Clark. You're listening to Premier League Live. Jose Mourinho compared his rivalry with Arsene Wenger to the great tennis battle between John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg in the late 70s and early 80s this week. It's not quite as visceral as that anymore. More like if those two guys met at Queen's Club in about 1997 these days. Wenger and Mourinho, no question, two of the greatest bosses at two of the greatest clubs in English football. But both have been left so far behind by Pep Guardiola and Man City this season, it's hard not to see these two as yesterday's men. They meet today with Arsenal on their best ever run of home form at the Emirates, with 13 straight wins the prize for victory today. For United, they can close the gap to 5 points on City at the top. They don't play until they thrash West Ham tomorrow. But they will need to do something Mourinho doesn't often do in the big games away from home: play to win. If he doesn't, he will have United fans around the world screaming that he cannot be serious. Let's get to the team news, starting with Arsenal. Alexandre Lacazette, we all thought he was injured. Well, apparently not so. He went off against Huddersfield in midweek. He starts up front. It's unchanged for the Gunners. Petr Cech is in goal. Back three of Nacho Monreal, Mustafi and Koscielny. In midfield, Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka. Said Kolasinac and Hector Bellerin wing backs, with Ozil, Lacazette and Sanchez completing the starting 11. For Manchester United, the big news is that Nemanja Matic is fit enough to start. Zlatan does not make the matchday squad. It's no changes for them from the team that played Watford in midweek. So David De Gea's in goal. Back three of Rocco, Smalling and Victor Lindelof. Antonio Valencia and Ashley Young wing backs right and left. Matic and Pogba in the centre of midfield. Jesse Lingard, who scored that memorable winner against Watford, starts, with Anthony Martial supporting Romelu Lukaku up front. Alongside me, we got him for an Arsenal game. It's Adrian Clark. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, really excited about the game, Tom. Cannot wait for this. And I'm really pleased for Alexandre Lacazette that he's available and able to show what he's made of the season. I think it's great news for Arsenal ahead of kick-off.
What was all that about this week, though? I've got on every single note, every single preview, Lacazette out with a groin injury. When would that have changed?
Well, he played us, didn't he, Arsene Wenger, massively. Must have trained yesterday, but